The City of Regina says infrastructure investment remains a top priority this construction season. A total of $147 million will be spent on roadways and water projects in 2026. City officials say the work will improve roads, drainage, and underground systems while supporting future growth. 7 major projects are planned, including upgrades on 11th Avenue and the Albert Street overpass. The city says crews will work extended hours to reduce delays. Residents are advised to plan travel routes, slow down near work zones, and check Regina's online construction map for updates. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for B&A Petroleum and Swift Current, with multiple locations serving southern Saskatchewan for over 30 years. See B&A Petroleum for all your fuel and propane needs. A mix of sun and cloud today at a high of +3. Tonight, dropping down to a low of -8. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high of +7. For Wednesday, mostly sunny and a high of 9 degrees. Thursday, mostly sunshine, high of 14. And then Friday, sunshine and a high of +20.
B&A Petroleum is a southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel in Regina. So you want to do it yourself? No problem. We sell injection pumps, injectors, and turbos to fit all your needs. Find us on Facebook today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Monday edition of the Sports Cage. Thanks for taking the time. I'm Tegan Whitco, joined alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Dave Thomas, and Colson Schultz is on the controls today, keeping us on the air at 620 CKRM and on the stream at sportscage.com, X, Twitter, and YouTube. You can join in the conversation there as well at any point, either the YouTube stream or you can text us. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. And yes, all guests do join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Before we get to who's going to be joining us today, because we have a lot of people lined up, you can tell it's Monday when I'm bringing in a Red Bull at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Dave, I don't know about you, but I've also noticed there's some renovation work happening here. And Colson, is this room getting touched? Do you know?
I know it's not. I don't have to move any of my stuff.
Hey! Because could you imagine having to move everything out of this room? If you're not watching the stream, we deck out this room. I don't know how long it took to collect everything in here, but I would not want to be the one responsible for moving everything out.
No.
Oh, yeah, there you go. We have the sky cam now on the stream. Yes, we have dozens upon dozens of jerseys and pieces of memorabilia and all the bobbleheads. So that's the one silver lining for this Monday, is we don't have to worry about lugging everything out of here to get new carpet. It's the simple things in life, Dave.
There you go.
Okay, who do we have coming up? Dhel Duncan-Busby is going to be joining us here in just a little bit. Tomorrow is the CFL Canadian Draft. We are going to be down at Mosaic Stadium bringing you the latest. Of course, the Riders are picking 9th, so you're going to have to wait a little bit. It doesn't kick off until 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
Local time. But he's going to talk about his experience a little bit, because obviously he was drafted by the Riders in 2024.
Yep.
23rd overall?
He was 23rd overall, 3rd round. Yes.
3rd round.
Look at you go.
Hey. I can still do math from time to time.
I don't know how you are, like, with memorizing things. Like, I always have to associate things with something. So Dhel Duncan-Busby is always been, in my mind, associated with Michael Jordan, number 23.
Oh.
I don't know. That probably doesn't make sense.
It's a totally different sport, but...
Yeah, it's probably harder to remember Michael Jordan than just think, hey, he's the 23rd overall pick. But that's the world I live in.
What's number 57?
57?
Yeah.
As far as the...
Your association with it.
What? I don't think that...
That's a random number to throw out.
Well, it's just because my clutch performer from Friday was the 57th overall pick in the draft.
Okay, gotcha.
Got a lifetime supply of Heinz ketchup because 57. And they were partnering with probably the best 57th overall pick ever, Devin Hester.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea.
Which, if you've seen the promo, they get a ketchup red suit, and the buttons on the suit are the shape of the Heinz logo. Like, I was like, they went all out for it.
Connor
I'm kinda jealous of
McDavid
it.
could never. Fear of ketchup.
Oh,
Dave's
that's
giving
right.
me
I
just the
forgot about
most
that. I was
blank stare.
No, well, that's the natural look. But yeah, I didn't thought of that. That makes sense.
But yes, Dhel Duncan-Busby is going to be joining us to tee up the CFL draft. Of course, they have training camp coming up in Saskatoon before we know it. It's hard to believe that, we're less than a month away from that first preseason game in Calgary. So he's actually on his way back to Regina today, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll chat with him. Speaking of the CFL Canadian draft, Dwayne Ford, Marshall Ferguson, they had a media availability talking about everything we can expect in the draft, so we'll zone in a little bit. We'll focus on the Saskatchewan Roughriders and hear from them. Daniella Ponticelli. Now, you recognize that voice. She used to be on our Ryder broadcast network and Sidelines. So she just called her 90th game last week.
Wow.
Which is a very impressive milestone. So you recognize Daniella's voice. She's a clutch performer all on her own. But PWHL playoffs also start later this week, so she can help us tee that up a little bit. And she may have also attended one wild NHL game in this postseason, so I want to get her take on what the energy was like in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can only imagine. Yes, more clutch performers will be coming up around 4:30 as well. We'll do your sprinkle of the day. We'll have Crofty join us for a little bit from Croft Electric. Darian Durant. We can also talk a little CFL draft with him, a little NFL draft with him. And finally, the CFL launching a fantasy platform officially.
Officially.
I know Colson was all over that because he was so frustrated with the way he had to do it last year. And I think as soon as that news release came out last week, you sent us all a message saying, okay, anybody up for a draft?
Like, I played CFL Fantasy for the first time last year, and it was just clunky. That's all I'm saying. It just felt clunky. All right? That's all I'm saying.
It remains to be seen if it's still going to be clunky. We'll see.
I mean, it's the first year of it, so...
There's going to be issues.
Yeah.
For sure. As long as the stats are updated, that's what counts.
That is important.
Yeah, around 5:35 as well. Ryder, host of the Sauce podcast with Oilers Nation, is going to chat with us. I think he may have a thing or two to say about that controversial Ducks OT winner last night.
Potentially.
Yes. And we can also tee up Game 5, which is going to be happening tomorrow. We'll also dip into some other Stanley Cup playoff action. And of course, we also wanted to remind you, this is the final day to win that customized putting green.
Yeah, isn't that something? It's the last Monday of April already.
It's hard to believe we launched this thing right around Masters.
Yes.
And it has flown by. So if this is the first you're hearing of it, good, because you still have time to get in.
Yes.
It's just as easy as texting us a singular word, and then you're in the draw. And then we're going to pick our 10 finalists randomly a little bit later on this week for an announcement on Friday. So that means Classic Landscaping is going to go into someone's backyard, landscape the whole thing up, build a beautiful putting green so you can work on your short game. I think it's going to be really, really fun for one winner.
For sure.
Keyword, golfer.
Golfer.
We went all out and made it really, really unique for the final day.
Yeah, did you not? That's great.
Golfer is the word that you want to text into us right now. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. So again, all you have to do is text in the keyword and you're in.
Yep.
If you've entered any other day, that's cool because it's one entry per day. You can still get on it. Golfer is the word to text in to us. Would it fit in your backyard? I know you can't win, but...
I would make it fit.
You would make it fit?
They would make it fit. Heck with me. They would make it fit.
Well, Classic Landscaping Company. They know what they're doing.
Should I mention the breaking news? I know you're gonna do a deep dive. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later on. Just from the University of Regina.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
Read you the
statement.
Had a statement. From Dr. Jeff Keshen, the president and vice chancellor of the University of Regina. I'll read it verbatim. Early last week, the University of Regina committed to review recruitment of the Cougars women's basketball head coach position. The University of Regina has determined that certain important factors, including the interim coach's demonstrated performance and the strong competitive record under her leadership, as well as her deep connection to the institution and the broader community, were not not given the necessary weight and merit. In light of those considerations, an offer has been made and accepted by Michaela Kleisinger to lead the Cougars women's basketball team as head coach. This decision reflects the university's commitment to excellence in sports, inclusive leadership, and the future of Cougars women's basketball. So it is official. Michaela Kleisinger is now the head coach of the University of Regina women's basketball team. And again, I don't know how I can weigh in any more on what was or wasn't done, but it seems like the outcome is good for all involved. It seems like the right appropriate steps were taken by the university. They reviewed the decision. They said, oops, we made it bad. They made it good. And good on Michaela Kleisinger for saying, you know what, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to continue on, and let's go forward. So time to go forward.
Yeah, she was named the coach of the year.
Yeah,
with the University of Regina Cougars last year. Yeah. So I think that just, speaks to her merit. And if you aren't familiar with the story, of course, we do have coverage at sportscage.com and hope to have Michaela on the show a little bit later on this week to talk about the season ahead.
Fingers crossed. Again, good news for everyone, and I'm glad that we can put it behind us. Again, sometimes things can drag out for a long time, so kudos to all involved.
Absolutely. Well said. And also, if you're texting that keyword for this putting green.
Golfer.
Yeah. Prairie Land Rentals text line. You can also chime in on anything else that we discussed today. Prairie Land Rental for small power tools, skid steers. They probably have what you need. Deal directly with the owner, 600 Albert Street. And Dhel Duncan-Busby, Canadian receiver for your Saskatchewan Roughriders, coming up here in just a moment. This is the Sports Cage for Smokem Diesel. If you're a fix-it-yourself type of person, which I think we've determined I am not, they can supply you with anything that you need. This is specific to fuel injectors, injection pumps, turbos, all diesel hard parts, genuine OEM replacement diesel parts. They do not sell junk. Smokem Diesel. And joining us now on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, he is one of the rising playmakers in Ryder Nation, and a lot of fans are excited to see what he brings to the table this year. Dhel Duncan-Busby is with us. First of all, how's the offseason been treating you?
It's been really, really good, actually. I'm on my way back to Regina right now, so I'm been pretty good. Got a little bit of traveling in, got some work in, feeling great.
Well, and a little bit of a shorter offseason than you're used to, so I bet you're ready to get back at it. CFL draft, of course, that's going to be taking place tomorrow. And I know that you were selected by the Riders, round 3 in the 2024 CFL draft. Or 2024, pardon me. What do you remember about that day, Dhel? Walk us through it a little bit.
That day was kind of a long day. It was a very stressful day. But, I just remember watching TSN and doing all that kind of stuff, and ultimately getting my number called by Coach Mason, knowing that I was drafted by the Riders. I was super excited.
So that may seem like a while ago, Dhel, but was there an eye-opening moment after that draft? Of course, you do so much work and preparation through the combine process to getting selected, and now all of a sudden, hey, you're a pro athlete and you've got an opportunity to try to compete for a roster spot. Can you tell me when that realization came in?
It was... Honestly, once I showed up to camp, would be the time that I would say that actually happened. Just with how fast everything turned around in terms of getting drafted and then go to training camp. It was pretty quick, actually.
So what's the biggest adjustment right after that draft? Is it jumping into, okay, I've got to learn a playbook, I've got to get myself prepared for the on-field stuff, or is it the logistical off-field? Like, what am I going to do with my car and all that fun stuff?
It was more the on-field stuff that really kind of changed for me, just in terms of having to figure out the playbook, like you said, and that was a big adjustment, especially from the type of playbook that I had. But it was that, and then the speed of the game also vastly changed too, just from going from college to the pro game. But once you kind of get going, it makes it a lot easier to kind of figure out.
What's the number one piece of advice that you give to these rookies coming in this season?
Just take things one day at a time. Everybody just wants to rush in and be the number one guy right away, and you're just realizing that you're going back to square one. Everybody else was also really, really good at where they went. So understanding that you are kind of going back to square zero and having to rebuild up your new legacy.
Del, I don't know if you remember first day of your first training camp back in Saskatoon. It was the rookie camp, and there was a lot of nerves on the field, but it was a very impressive start, I would suggest. And it seemed almost since day one you were welcomed into this receiver room with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What was that welcome like?
Like you said, they were very open and very welcoming with me. There was a lot of new guys, obviously, at that time as well that were trying to figure out their own way. So having to kind of build my own path was very interesting in that way. But like you said, like I remember meeting Sam and Kian and all those guys, and they were very accepting of me.
Well, you're certainly no longer a rookie. You're a Grey Cup champion now, Del. And there has been some changes to the receiving group this offseason. So I'm curious to hear what you see in front of you in terms of opportunity heading into this season and into training camp.
I would say that it's kind of an open slate. Obviously, we've got people who are like established in our team and stuff like that, and then there's a couple open spots. So just, taking it one day at a time and understanding that it's not going to be easy, but as long as I give up my best effort, then it'll work out for the best.
I really appreciate the coaching staff, Del, when it comes to receivers. When you're doing video work, right, you're going to look at your routes, your patterns, so on and so forth, but they take a lot of pride in showing the physicality that a Rough Rider receiver needs to possess. How big is that in terms of your game? Have you grown more into that and more comfortable with it? Tell me about being a receiver that also has to make a physical play when you're not getting the football.
Honestly, that was kind of something that I kind of hung my hat on at the end of college, just with being a better blocker. My first 2 seasons, I was okay. I just progressively gotten better at it. It definitely was a little bit harder to see what I was looking for at the beginning, and now obviously after last year I started quite a bit again, so I was able to kind of figure that out a little bit more. So hopefully like this year being able to kind of take that big step forward and understanding and having the game really, really slow down in that way for me. And I mean, we all enjoy blocking for each other. I mean, one play that you can really think of is when Sam Ellis kind of throws Tomas into the end zone in the first game there, and like how much excited he was that somebody else scored and it wasn't just him. So that's something that's always been very important for our squad.
I love listening to the safety announcement that's going on behind you. I hope that you don't feel unsafe behind us all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You mentioned it, a step up in your game. You improved from, your rookie year, 16 receptions to 29 catches, 355 yards last season. So I imagine that there's a little bit of confidence that comes from that. But Trevor Harris even said that he believes this could be the year that you really take off. What does it mean to you to hear that from your starting QB?
It means the world just because, Trevor's been around for a very long time and he's seen a lot of different players. So the fact that he has the confidence in me to be able to take that big step is very, I feel very honored by that sentiment from him. And, not only am I trying to do it for myself, but I'm also trying to do it for the athletes in Saskatchewan that's on the front of our jersey as well, because, the plan is to go back-to-back, and that's what we're shooting for. So us being able to just kind of me taking a step forward, I feel like also helps out the team as well. So that's just kind of where I'm trying to hang my hat on this year.
Dhel Duncan-Busby, can you take me through the relationship now that you have with the receivers in that receiver room? Because it's so unique in the fact that you're all a big part of a bigger picture. Like you mentioned, the Saskatchewan name on the front of your jersey, but you're also got Dhel Duncan-Busby on the back, and you've got to earn a spot. So what is that dynamic like where you're competing for a roster position, but also building team chemistry to make it happen on the field?
Honestly, the guys do a really good job of kind of making sure that everybody feels welcome. And we definitely have a really big family thing, and that's something that my first year was obviously Coach Max's first year, so that was always something that got instilled into us right away, and that's a part of our core values is having a family. So, all of us would love to have the personal things, but we all understand at the end of the day that team success is the most important. So, I feel like we all have a pretty good understanding of that, and we kind of embody that sentiment there, and that's what makes it a little bit easier.
Well, he's on his way back to Regina. He's going to be hitting training camp soon. I'm curious, what can fans expect from Dhel Duncan-Busby up in Saskatoon?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm just... Oh, sorry, there's I'm just going to do the best that I can. I mean, obviously going to make plays, do what I'm supposed to do, and at the end of the day, it's all, I mean, nothing's guaranteed of us making the roster. So just trying to make the roster and do the best that I can is honestly all I can say that I can do.
Well, I don't want to scoop a question that I know you're going to get later, but hey, here we are. So are you going to take the pretzels or the cookie?
Let me get the cookie. Yeah, I like the cookies over here.
Solid choice. Well, we're going to let you get ready for your flight back to Regina. Really appreciate you taking the time here, Dhel.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Dhel Duncan-Busby joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, of course. Appreciate his time as always as we round the corner to the CFL Canadian Draft tomorrow, Global Draft later this week, and then before you know it, we're going to be up in Saskatoon. It's wild to think. Well, coming up next, we are going to have a couple of comments here from TSN football analyst Dwayne Ford and CFL.ca columnist Marshall Ferguson as we continue to preview the CFL Canadian Draft. It's the Sports Cage on the home of Ryder Nation and 620 CKRM streaming at sportscage.com as well.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskatchewan Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at SaskAgToday.com. Saskatchewan Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan-owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI-accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street. rmpchevrolet.com.
You can feel it. The snow's gone, the sun's out, and you're ready to get back outside. Hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. This is when everything starts coming back to life. Firing up the sprinklers, cleaning up the beds, adding those finishing touches you've been thinking about. That's what our spring startup event is all about. It gets your yard going again and makes it feel like yours. The spring startup sale is on now until May 9th. Stop by and we'll help you get set up. Great projects start at the Shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. 2 green thumbs up.
The auction calendar is stacked at Ritchie Brothers, and an exciting Regina auction is happening May 28th. Visit their website or Regina location to view a wide variety of used heavy equipment from top brand manufacturers. You won't want to miss this great opportunity. Head to rbauction.com/Regina to sign up and be ready for the auction. Again, that's rbauction.com/Regina.
Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com, on our YouTube channel, and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports. 620 CKRM.
Well, thanks for being here. It's another edition of the Sports Cage. I'm Tegan Whitco, your Monday host, and of course we're here with Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then Colson Schultz, our main guy keeping us on the stream, on the air, 620 CKRM. Now, we just had a conversation with Dhel Duncan-Busby, talking about all things training camp, CFL draft. If you missed it, you can always go back and listen in podcast form, wherever you happen to get your podcasts, or just use that little tab at the bottom on YouTube and slide back. Join the conversation at any point as well if you'd like to. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Already seeing a bunch of entries coming in for this final keyword to win that backyard putting green with the Classic Landscape Company. And that word today is golfer. And I'm going to mention it a few more times throughout the show because I don't want you to miss out. Last chance. But now, Dave, we should talk a little bit more about the CFL Canadian Draft that's coming up tomorrow.
3 weeks from today, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will play their first preseason game in Calgary. I know you look outside and you're like, what? But yeah, CFL Draft goes tomorrow, and it's always an interesting day.
So I should probably have my heated jacket on standby for the preseason game in Saskatoon?
I would think that would be an appropriate measure to take.
If I learned anything from being on the sidelines last year, it was always over-prepare in terms of layers.
Yep.
Because that West final, wow, that was chilly.
That was a touch chilly.
What layers did you prepare for the smoke game?
Curious.
That's a different type of preparation.
Oh, the PTSD, Colson, the PTSD.
Oh, well, here's hoping we don't have another 8-hour pregame show this season. But again, knock on wood, because it might happen. You never know. But that was one impressive beer tower we saw in the Sportscage Lounge at Mosaic Stadium. I will admit that.
Real MVPs.
Real MVPs. Well, they were that night, that's for sure. And the people working, because I know they ran out of beer. That couldn't have been easy on them. But yes, CFL draft tomorrow. TSN football analyst Dwayne Ford had a media availability along with CFL.ca columnist Marshall Ferguson to talk about the CFL Canadian draft. And one of the more important questions that Ryder Nation wants to know about is, what do the Riders need to do in this draft?
When I think about the receiver situation there recently, that's obviously somewhere you'd like to continue to stock the flames, and so it can burn as bright as possible, not just a year or two down the road, but 5-10 years potentially, if you keep doing that year over year and finding good body types. And Demontanak, I think, is a very productive guy that's long and reminds me a little bit of the Keen Schaefer-Baker, kind of just like lanky. You can imagine him running those crossing routes in between the hash marks, 20 yards down the field, catching a pass and running away from everybody. So that's one that jumps out to me. And then I think the other side of it is, as much as we say, that the linemen don't dominate the conversation the way that they used to, we obviously still, everybody who's on this call and beyond understands the importance of the trench warfare and owning the line of scrimmage. And I just think it's hard for me when I think of a Corey Mace coached team to not imagine him continuing to set the tone for what he wants that team to look like by investing in pass rushers, defensive linemen, defensive tackles. And it's like Dwayne said, a super deep group this year. So I don't think he's going to have to reach for something in those early couple of rounds, but it will always be a priority in my mind for Corey Mace, because he knows that is what wins and loses football games. So no specific name necessarily, but I just think defensive line for me is one that I always have in mind for the Riders, because I know how much that means to their team culture with Corey Mace as the head coach.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, Marsh, when you look at positions. Like, obviously, the Ajo situation, Tommy Neal leaving in free agency, Mitch Picton, I guess, not re-signed, that you maybe think receiver, but at the same time, there's still Sam Emilus, there's still Keon Schaefer-Baker, there's still Dhel Duncan-Busby. Like, they had built some depth in that group, like remarkable depth in that group, that I would say it's not necessarily a pressing need. To me, I look at them and think of O-line and possibly D-line as more pressing, as Marsh said. And again, like, when you think of kind of the Corey Mace mentality and how the team is built, where the culture comes from, I do think that that's a big part of it with Corey. Certainly for me in this draft class, more depth on the offensive line than the defensive line, and particularly when you look at the interior D line. I could go off on a little bit of a tangent, but one of the you knew it was going to happen eventually on this call, that I would do it. But like, one of the things that stands out to me in this draft is that the interior D line, like the defensive tackle position, under different circumstances could have been really deep in this draft. But like, for a team looking for immediate help. But then, as an example, like the top defensive tackle in the draft, Rene Conga, he was a guy who I think teams looked at as maybe an NFL undrafted free agent. And then his pro day was unfrickin' believable. And now he becomes a guy that you think, decent chance of getting drafted. At the very least, someone's going to give him a pretty decent look, you would think, like as athletic a 290-pound guy as you're going to find. And so he's out of the mix. I know one of the things some of us have talked about a little bit behind the scenes, like University of Regina, Tarek Polius, a guy who didn't play youth sports this year, dealing with a drug trafficking charge that creates obviously a lot of uncertainty, not just for him, but for teams about how to handle his situation, because they don't know exactly where that case is going and won't know until probably September at the earliest. But this is a kid who, if you had asked a year ago, probably everyone in the league would have said unanimously, yeah, that guy's a top 10 pick in the 2026 draft. He's out of the mix. And then there are a couple of kids who would have qualified for this draft, but haven't submitted their citizenship papers. Guys that would qualify. Kevin Jobity Jr. at Syracuse, who's a terrific player, like 6'5", 300 pounds. I think he had probably 5 sacks last year. 2-3 year starter on defensive line for Syracuse. He's a guy pursuing his NFL stuff. We'll probably get a look down there, but this is a guy who could have been eligible for this draft. TJ Bowlers at University of California, another guy waiting on his citizenship stuff. That, again, like that's sort of 4 significant guys that you thought might have been in the mix for this draft, all at the same position and aren't. So that's kind of my tangent as to, I think if you think their early needs are offensive line and defensive line, you probably go offensive line early, because I don't know how many interior defensive linemen there are in this draft class that necessarily warrant an early pick. So I would, that's kind of my take a little bit. One of the other reads I would throw into it for Saskatchewan is, you would have to talk to their people to kind of see where they're at or what they anticipate with a couple of past draft picks of theirs, and specifically Kyle Hergel, who was the number 2 overall pick a couple of years back, City Sow as well, like 2 guys who have been down in the NFL the last couple of years, haven't necessarily seen a lot of action, that you wonder at what point those guys might pop free and consider coming north. And that's 2 guys on the offensive line where that's a position where you may be looking to squeeze out another Canadian starter, that if they were able to get either of those guys, it would go a long way and maybe change their draft plans as well.
TSN football analyst Dwayne Ford and CFL.ca columnist Marshall Ferguson previewing the CFL Canadian draft, which is taking place tomorrow, 5 o'clock local time. So that was them focusing specifically on the Saskatchewan Roughriders, their needs, what their focus likely will look like tomorrow. Worth noting, the Riders did make a pair of signings today, too. Just really quickly here, All-American defensive tackle Thor Griffith, which is such a great name.
That is a good football name right there.
Thor Griffith. 6'2", 290 pounds. He was Rookie of the Year at Crimson, played all 10 games, and he was named a Jerry Rice Award finalist for top rookie in the country. So he was a finalist in that. He also spent his senior season at Louisville, suiting up for 13 games as a Cardinal, 20 defensive tackles, including 5 sacks for loss, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and went on to sign with the Seattle Seahawks in July of last year. They also signed 3-time All-Conference American offensive lineman Thomas Perry. So he's 6'3", 312 pounds, attended an NFL rookie camp with both the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers last season. So a couple of new names to familiarize ourselves with as we get closer and closer to training camp here. Marshall Ferguson and Dwayne Ford also asked about what excites them about the CFL draft.
I have experienced it every single year when I go back through, and whether I'm looking at combine testing scores or mock drafts or how the draft actually turned out. I love remembering where I was, how how it impacted me when it was, whether it be good or bad. A player gets taken and I go, oh man, that was 6 years ago, or that was 2 seasons ago. It feels like that guy's been in the league forever. For me, it's kind of like if you're a real true fan of the Canadian Football League, invest in the combine and the draft, care about it, because you'll remember it when that player is making plays for or against your favorite team. And it becomes so much more fun when you're invested since day one, when you know their origin story. Because like I've always used Mike Daly as an example of this because I played at McMaster with him, but it's like Mike Daly was a Kitchener-Waterloo guy who goes down to Hamilton, plays at McMaster, very talented free safety, Vanier Cup champion, ends up going to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, making his way onto the roster, becoming the starting free safety, contributing on special teams, playing in a bunch of Grey Cups. And it killed me every time when I had people coming up to me when I was like at the grocery store and go, man, that Daly, he's a good player. Where did he come from? I'm like, he played down the street from the Tiger Cats stadium for a decade before he was in the CFL. So, but the people, to my point, who really truly love Canadian football, I know this is for a fact how Dwayne feels about this. I'll just put words right into his mouth. Being able to see players develop and become special when you have known what they've looked like since the early stages. Like even the CFC, top 50, top 100, all the rest that we do that Canada Football Chat game. It's like, it's so much fun for us to see those kids. And then, whether it's watching a U Sports game or, watching a, East-West Bowl or something like that. And I'll kind of once in a while tap Dwayne. I'll go, is that the kid from 5 years ago that we were watching? He's like, yeah, he's bigger now, right? And like we got all excited about it because we know kind of the origin of this thing. So I think that's the value for me. That's why I hope CFL fans get excited about the draft, is because it's so much more fun when Keen Schaefer Baker's making a game-changing touchdown catch for you in a big playoff game, when you know where he's come from and what he's like as a person and what he's persevered through and what his family background is. And I hope that people feel the same about that as I do.
Yeah, I think for me, probably along the same lines, it is kind of about feeling somewhat invested in the journeys of players a little bit, in terms of what gets exciting about drafts, where, it's for guys like us, there's the element of sometimes being able to say, I told you so, when you believed in a guy and said, this guy's going to be good. And, say teams in the league didn't necessarily, or, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it goes the other way, where everybody's talking about a player as a high pick, and I'm kind of thinking, I don't see it. I don't know if there's any better feeling than being right. It hurts to be wrong sometimes, but it always feels good to be right. And I think it's the same thing for fans, right? Like, it's a little bit of what drives, like, how gambling in sports, quite honestly, like whether it is like flat out gambling on games or playing fantasy football or whatever it is, but kind of being invested that you have an opinion about what a certain outcome is going to be, and being invested as you kind of follow and see whether you are right or whether you are wrong. I think that the draft offers people a huge element of that if you're invested in it, and drafts of all sports. Like, I mean, you guys know, I have talked before about being a draft junkie in all sports, right? I absolutely love drafts. Like, I mean, yeah, like it's nuts. I mean, it's, Marshall, I've told him the story before. Like, I decided who I was going to ask to my high school prom by making a draft board. Like that's how I feel about drafts. Like, it's just kind of, it's awesome. And I don't know if I got that one right or wrong, but that's a whole other call. But it's just, in general, it is that being invested in the journey and having an opinion about how you think something's going to unfold and why. And, there are always underdog stories and kind of upset stories and things like that. Like, this all exists. Like, all of what I guess makes sports in general great, like live sports. Like, I think the same kind of things exist within the draft.
All right. Of course, we were hearing there from a couple of guys who know their information when it comes to the CFL draft, Dwayne Ford and Marshall Ferguson. I love the fact that Dwayne openly admitted he made a draft board for his prom date.
Hey, I'm telling you.
That's how you know
guys
he was
like
born to do this.
We didn't have a lot of options, so we didn't have a draft board. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, my goodness. Teeing up that CFL Canadian draft that's taking place tomorrow. The global draft will follow on Wednesday. So it's busy times right across the league. And I mean, it's going to be fun to follow along. And we are going to have everything that you need at sportscage.com. And of course, we'll update Barney and the rest of the crew on the show tomorrow if that 9th overall selection is made beforehand. Before we're ending the show, I should say.
We'll have it. No matter what, we'll have it. But what I get a lot of DMs with people sending me questions regarding what I think the Riders are going to do on the draft. And I'll tell you that I'm terrible at a mock draft at anything, because predicting what a team is going to do is really, really difficult. But I think that if you look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders roster and their makeup right now, right, they build through the draft with Jeremy O'Day at the helm, right? And Jeremy has done a terrific job of identifying that Canadian talent. Look at the number of draft picks on the team that won the Grey Cup last year. So there's so many different ways that they can go. It'll be interesting to see how the dominoes fall in front of them. As again, today is the big day for CFL teams in that they have to reach out, and Jeremy has openly told us before on this program that we've got to reach out and we've got to do our due diligence, find out who is going to get a workout in the NFL, who isn't going to get a workout in the NFL, who is going to pursue that much further than maybe what the training camp would dictate as far as terms and time with the Roughriders, which is going to be an accelerated training camp as well, right? Considering that, yes, we're 3 weeks away from the first preseason game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but putting that into context, we're also 27 days away, or 26, days away from the Riders wrapping up their preseason.
Oh, you were going to get so called out for that one day, Dave.
Just saying, right? I want to be accurate, but
that's fair.
Again, it's going to be really, really tough for rookies to make an impact. The rookie camp will open ahead of the vets reporting, of course, but it's going to be difficult. And so, again, I'm very curious. There's a number of different ways. Again, looking and assessing the talent, a lot of people, including Dwayne and Marshall, have said that the line and offensive line in particular is a much deeper group than it has been in the last couple of years. Again, wait and see, right?
I can only imagine what the whiteboard looks like in the Piffles boardroom at Mosaic Stadium as they get prepared for this draft tomorrow. Because, drafting that deep, I mean, you got to plan for every possibility. You don't know who's picking whom in front of you.
No,
so.
And just the process of the mock draft.
Yeah.
I would be curious what the overall accuracy of a mock draft is done by organizations. Like, I would imagine, because not only are you analyzing your needs, okay, what's going to happen in front of us? Who's going to pick what and what's going to address their need, right? So I'm very curious.
I'm also curious to hear what Ryder Nation thinks is the top priority. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262, and we'll see how right you are tomorrow. What do you think is the top priority? Honestly, though, if you're looking at the roster, and there have been, a couple of guys that have gone elsewhere in the offseason, so you're looking at those gaps. You're looking at all the guys that went to Ottawa. That could be a very interesting situation in 2026.
Well, according to our poll at sportscage.com, and when it comes to Ryder Nation and what position the Riders should be focusing on in the draft, number one, slim majority, but number one was the offensive line. Number two was the best available position. And I think that kind of echoes what we're hearing.
Well, that speaks to the roster construction as it stands right now.
Yes, yeah.
There's no massive need. But then you also look at the offensive line from last year. Hopefully everyone got healthy during the offseason.
Yes, absolutely. So, again, it is extremely, I would suggest, hard to predict and anticipate what's going to happen. But I think that Ryder Nation is kind of calling it right?
Yeah.
See where the offensive line falls, see where the best available position is. Let's not forget the Riders do have a couple of highly touted draft prospects, if you will, that they selected that are plying their trade right now in the NFL. What if one or both become available? That can completely change how things are looking, right?
We're going to find out more tomorrow.
You bet.
We should take a short break, though, and come back here in just a little bit because we got to take a peek at that sports ticker. Lots to discuss as the week is ahead of us, and obviously everything that transpired over the weekend. So this is the Sports Cage. We'll be right back here in about 90 seconds. We're streaming at 620 CKRM and sportscage.com.
If you've been putting up with cold showers and hard water that makes everything feel like more work, stop waiting. Reliance Heat makes it easy. Rent a water heater and a water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400. That means hot water when you need it and water that just works better. No big upfront costs, no hassles. Visit waterheaterrentals.com to get the offer.
Call on Reliance.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Did he really drop $500,000 on that used drill?
Yep. And still hasn't figured out openers matter more than gadgets. Textbook Bill, right?
Morning, everyone. That drill is fancy, but it won't make up for worn openers. Missed rows, poor placement, it always happens by the road. Check them now, swap them if you need.
Fancy drill or not, accuracy and consistency starts at the opener. Talk to Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture, precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Appreciate you taking the time. I'm Tegan Whitco here with Dave Thomas and Colson Schultz. Well, little lacrosse talk here. Saskatchewan Rush, unfortunately, knocked out of the playoffs. Did you have a chance to catch any of that?
Saw part of the game, but I was at the Regina Red Sox dinner at the same time. So
Kevin Pillar.
Yes, Kevin Pillar.
Tell any good stories that you can share on the radio, or?
Oh, tons of great stories. There were some fun stories about helping others steal signs, things that you see in center field at Rogers Center.
Oh.
There was a lot of topics that were covered, including reliving 2015 and the team that was, of course, went on to win the ALDS, lost out to Kansas City in the ALCS. Talked a little bit about his teammates. So if you look back to 2015, and again, that is a ways back, but if you look at the roster, right? So Josh Donaldson, Russell Martin, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion,
David Price at the deadline.
If you look and ask Kevin Pillar, okay, bottom of the ninth inning, 2 are out, Game 7 of the World Series with that team, you're standing at second base. Who do you want at bat? Who do you think he went with?
Jose?
No.
Really?
Yes. I was shocked too.
Who did he go with? Donaldson.
No. That would have been... Donaldson was my guy. He was the AL MVP that year.
Yeah.
Encarnacion.
Okay. With a little bird wing. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah.
You know, it's funny because I asked someone else here in the building, Gloria from the CKRM Morning Show. I asked her what she took away from it, and she had a much different response. She was talking about all the sweet messages that he was sharing with the young kids and how to stay focused on school and baseball and excel professionally. And here you are talking about stealing signs.
Well, okay. But you know what? I give him full credit. If you've never been to a Regina Red Sox dinner and auction, again, Sharon and I know that Gary and
all of the volunteers,
there was just
board
a ton
members
of people,
over the years,
made it happen. And Kevin Pillar made sure to sign something for everyone, take a photograph with everyone. Over 400 people, sold out crowd, 400 in attendance. Again, I give a fantastic speaker that they brought in, and I thought for one, it was an excellent evening. Others may have a different opinion because I got to ask all my questions, but
well, that's what happens when you're the MC.
Well, you know what?
You get the microphone.
It was a good time, and yeah, it was a good time.
How were the silent auction items?
Silent auction items? I didn't win anything.
Did you even go for anything?
There's a couple of things. There's some incredible pieces of Saskatchewan Roughrider memorabilia.
That's the place to get that stuff.
It's cool.
You know, if you have a memorabilia room, kind of like the room we're sitting in right now, we were talking about earlier, those are the events you go to get the coolest, like one-of-a-kind type of pieces.
Yeah. It was unveiled or revealed at the dinner that there are going to be some upgrades to Curry Field for this coming season, from seats to concessions to a video board that we were inadvertently told about when we weren't supposed to be told about. Well, we brought it to you first.
Yeah,
here on Sportscage.com.
We broke that news a little while back with someone who I don't need to throw under the bus right now.
No, that's right. I'm not naming names, but he knows who he is.
Yeah, he knows who he is. Looking forward to the start of the season. It's going to be here before we know it. We're already looking at the schedule, and I know the production value of this is also going to be beefed up for the fan engagement, interaction, some new giveaways, new games, and stuff like that. And I only bring that up because that's a side thing for me, right?
That's what you do.
I will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of promo nights, theme nights, and the team is shaping up to look really good as well. So if you want to see the defending league champion Regina Red Sox, the countdown is on. I'm not Dave Thomas, though, so I cannot tell you exactly how many days until the home opener.
You can't?
I can't. I'm sorry. I don't like to count by days.
Wow, okay.
I'm not going to look it up either.
31.
Okay, so the TELUS Cup.
Yeah.
The Pat Canadians, not exactly the result they were looking for. Again, they were defending champs going back, and unfortunately they fell short. But they won the bronze.
They won the hardest game in any sport to play for the bronze because, of course, your emotion level, everything is geared towards gold. You lose in the semifinal in less than 24 hours, you got to play for bronze. But they came out, they parked that, and I think it was just a bad game at the wrong time that they played, but they were able to find it, come back with a lot of pride and passion, and won the bronze.
They are a fun team to watch. And Maddox Schultz, of course, what did he have, a 4-point game?
Yeah, yes, tournament MVP as well.
Yeah.
So good on him.
Again, you can tell in the group photo that's not exactly the result they wanted. They wanted to win it all, but I mean, still kudos to them and all the coaching staff and all the hard work that they put in this season because it's a big feat getting all the way to the TELUS Cup. That is a hard thing to do. So kudos to them. WHL still a Saskatchewan team in it. Medicine Hat Tigers, they rebounded from a series opening loss, so now it's 1-1. Mm-hmm. And the series is going to be shifting over to Medicine Hat for Game 2 tomorrow night, or Game 3 tomorrow night, Game 4 on Wednesday night.
They say a series isn't a series until you lose a game at home, and the Prince Albert Raiders lost Game 2 at home. I'm very curious what's going to happen in Medicine Hat because, again, that's got the makings of a long series, but if Medicine Hat can win Game number 3, they really put the screws to the Raiders.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how that one all comes together. And then we got to talk maybe a little bit of NHL here. I know when we have Ryder from Oilers Nation joining us on the show a little bit later on, we'll dive in a bit more. But I do want to get your take, Dave, on the very controversial overtime goal last night between the Ducks and the Oilers. Because you and I, that was, I think, the first thing that we talked about when I got in this morning. And it was, did the NHL get it right? That's our poll question at sportscage.com as well. So I want to toss this out to everybody. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Was that the right call? Should that have been a goal? The more and more that we look at the tape now, the more and more that we get the close-ups and everything. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Well, if you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, you're going to get a look at it. And there is never a definitive video or photographic evidence as to whether or not the puck fully crossed the line. One could infer that it did because the skate of goaltender Tristan Jarry, his left skate is on the puck. So you could infer that, it would have had to cross the line. Now, the officials at the time didn't call a goal. They huddled up, then they called goal, then they went to video review. So to me, if I'm watching the video, I'm sorry, Oilers fans, there's not enough video there to overturn that call on the ice.
Right.
Now, had the non-goal been made, that call been made, I would have said the same thing. There's not enough video or evidence to prove that puck went over the net. And if you go to sportscage.com right now, that is the poll question, and it's kind of like a minority government. So we're going to need some floor crossers here, but 46% say yes. It was called a goal on the ice. There was no video evidence to overturn the call, so yes, the right call was made. Others are pointing out that, hey, it's 2026. There's got to be something. If they can do an ABS system in MLB, why can't you do something else? And then the rest are the no's. So, yes, it is a minority vote right now, but still, you have to respect the minority. Sorry, I just brought politics into the show.
Okay, so...
And I'm kidding. I have no political qualms one way or the other.
KJ on the Twitter said he thinks there needs to be another option. Is here, I'm just going to read it quick. The situation was more nuanced in my view. It was likely a goal, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they bungled the entire process.
And that's the problem, is that the process of how they got there was wrong.
Tell me. Explain, please. I don't understand.
Okay, did you look at where the officials were on the ice?
Yes.
At the time that the goal may or may not have crossed the line?
Yeah.
Logically, if you look at the camera shot, and if you're watching the stream right now, Colson's putting it up for us, if you look at that aerial view down, there is no way that puck did not fully cross the goal line. Because yes, Jarry's skate was kind of covering the top of it, but is a puck oval? Is it egg-shaped? Like logically, look at that right there. We freezed it. That is a goal. That's a goal.
But you cannot see the white ice between the red line. And yes, the official was over in the corner. The referee was over in the far corner, well away from it. The linesman was dashing out of the zone to get out of the play. And one difference, did you hear what happened in the National Lacrosse League this weekend? One difference between the National Lacrosse League and the National Hockey League. In the NLL, again, a lot of the top seeds fell this weekend, including the Saskatchewan Rush, who, of course, were a favored seed. But Colorado is out as well because the officials made an error on the overtime goal. The player that touched the ball should not have been allowed because he was in the crease and then went out. You can't be the first to touch the ball. The NLL, 24 hours later, acknowledged the fact that the officials blew it. They called the officials out, and they said, and they will not be receiving any more playoff assignments.
Good.
I would be curious what the reaction would be from the NHL to their officials in this situation, probably positioning, but the process, I think, was followed by them. They had a meeting, discussed. I don't know how the guy at center ice thought it was a goal, but...
And that's just the thing. The process of the entire situation, I feel I know. We got to go. We got to take a break here. We'll revisit this in a little bit. Going to be back with your sports ticker. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
You probably don't remember the first time you heard CKRM, but you were there. Maybe it was playing in your parents' kitchen. Maybe it kept you company on a long drive home. Maybe it was the voice guiding you through stories that mattered. For 100 years, CKRM has been part of your days. And behind each broadcast, the icons who made it all possible. This year, we celebrate them and 620 CKRM's 100th anniversary. Join us on Saturday, July 18th at the Connexus Arts Center for 100 years in one night. An unforgettable night of stories with a delicious meal included. Get your ticket now at the Connexus Arts Center box office or at connexusartscenter.ca. 100 years in one night. Brought to you by YAC Auctions, Connexus Arts Center, Smart Investing Solutions with Brian Golly, GB Construction, Croft Electric, Harvard Western Insurance, and Heartland Livestock Yorkton.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Thinking about tackling your own landscape project this year, but not totally sure where to start? Hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. We work with DIY homeowners every day, helping you figure out what to use, how it all goes together, and how to avoid the stuff that can trip you up. Whether it's a patio, artificial turf, sprinklers, or adding some lighting, we'll help you make the right calls. Let's build a plan together. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. 2 green thumbs up.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
The Riders have signed a pair of players, all-Canadian defensive tackle Thor Griffith. They also signed 3-time All-Conference American offensive lineman Thomas Perry. WHL Conference Finals, Everett Silvertips in Penticton to take on the Vs. Everett up in that series 2-0. We also just talked about it in the East there. Game 3 goes tomorrow. Raiders, Tigers, that series all evened up at a game apiece, and they are on the road in Medicine Hat. NHL playoffs, Vegas Golden Knights in Utah taking on the Mammoth. Utah up 2-1. You got the Flyers in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins. Could put that one away tonight as they're up 3-1. World Senior Curling Championship. These are taking place in Geneva, Switzerland this week. Saskatoon's Bruce Cote representing Canada and making international debuts. So Canada beat Slovenia this morning 9-2. MLB, Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Boston Red Sox. So that's going to be a 5:07 first pitch. Dylan Cease on the mound tonight. Trey Yasavich will return tomorrow. The not-so-good news for Jays fans, Max Scherzer placed on the 15-day IL. Sportscage.com poll, did the NHL get it right when awarding that goal to the Anaheim Ducks in overtime. What do you think? Yes, no, or there's got to be a better way? Let us know. Sportscage.com. That is your sports ticker, brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies.
We are the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon. Mainly cloudy and 2 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. RCMP Saskatchewan enforcement response teams say that their work continues to deliver strong results in fighting crime. Police report more than 1,000 arrests in 2025, along with hundreds of search warrants and major drug and firearm seizures across the province. The teams target organized crime, trafficking, and outstanding warrants, often working with local detachments. Officials say the efforts have disrupted criminal networks and improved community safety. The province says Saskatchewan operates under coordinated enforcement teams to address serious crime and protect residents, especially in rural and northern communities. The Saskatchewan government is increasing funding for the Highway Patrol to improve safety on provincial roads. The patrol's budget will rise to $8.5 million next year, allowing for the hiring of 5 additional traffic officers. Officials say the added resources will support more highway patrols, commercial vehicle inspections, and crime prevention. The Highway Patrol also plays a role in stopping drug trafficking and illegal tobacco shipments. The government says the investment will help keep pace with growing traffic volumes as Saskatchewan's population continues to increase. The City of Regina is investing $147 million in roads and water infrastructure this year to support growth. City officials say the funding will help repair aging roads, upgrade water and sewer systems, and improve drainage. 7 major construction projects are planned for 2026, with 5 already underway. City leaders say construction can cause short-term disruptions, but brings long-term benefits. An online construction map is available to help residents plan travel. Drivers are reminded to slow down and watch for crews as work continues across the city. The City of Regina says tourism is expected to see strong growth in 2026. City officials say Regina has secured more than 100 events this year, including concerts, sports competitions, and conferences. A recent report shows tourism generated over $135 million in economic impact last year, drawing more than 170,000 visitors. Officials say hotel bookings are already up. The city says Regina remains an affordable travel destination despite rising fuel prices, with many major attractions located close together. A full tourism report will be released next year. The Tim Hortons Smile Cookie campaign is turning sweet treats into support for 2 Regina charities this week. First Steps Wellness Center and Sophia House have been selected as the local beneficiaries of the annual fundraiser running April 27th to May 3rd, with 100% of cookie sales going directly to the organizations. The campaign was officially kicked off in Regina today with appearances from Saskatchewan Roughrider players at the center on 4th Avenue. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
When was the last time you cleaned your ducts? Because what's hiding in there, it's kind of gross. Dust, skin, and who knows what else floating around your home every day. A professional duct cleaning is good for your health and good for your home. So start fresh with duct cleaning from Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Cleaner air, better comfort. Call 781-2090 or visit broncoplumbing.com today. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And Bryant, whatever it takes.
Weather for next-gen coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. A mix of sun and cloud today and a high of +3. Tonight, dropping down to a low of -8. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high of +7. For Wednesday, mostly sunny and a high of 9 degrees. Thursday, mostly sunshine, high of 14. And then Friday, sunshine and a high of +20.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Smokem Diesel in Regina. So you want to do it yourself? No problem. We sell injection pumps, injectors, and turbos to fit all your needs. Find us on Facebook today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm Tegan Whitco with Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Colson Schultz on the board. We are streaming at sportscage.com, YouTube, X, also at 620 CKRM. If you missed out on our conversation with Dhel Duncan-Busby as he was joining us live from his airplane seat,
yes,
en route back to Regina, you can go back and listen to that discussion, teeing up the CFL Canadian draft, which is going to be taking place tomorrow, 5 o'clock local time. If you miss any of our conversations, you can always go back and listen in podcast form for that matter. Still to come this hour, Clutch Performer, Sprinkle of the Day with sportselect.com. Crofty, going to swing by for a little bit. And I do want to remind you here, we're giving away a backyard putting green courtesy of the Classic Landscape Company. So if you want in, today's the final chance to enter. Text in the keyword golfer to 306-936-6262. Golfer. 306-936-6262.
You know what? I wasn't paying as close attention as I should have been. I'll be the first to admit that. Did you catch the pilot's name for Dhel Duncan-Busby's flight?
No, but I think I might have almost caught what the temperature was going to be when they arrived.
Because it wasn't Frank Abagnale Jr., right?
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. Catch Me If You Can. One of the best Leonardo DiCaprio movies out there.
One of the best, because it's like a true story, right? Mm-hmm. If you've never watched the movie, go rent it. You'll love it.
How much of the story is true, though?
Well,
that is the question.
It's dramatized for sure.
Yeah.
And also, did you just say go rent it? Do you know of a Blockbuster I'm unaware of?
No. I guess I don't know why I said that. Boy, that was a blast. But Frank William Abagnale Jr., the guy that the story is revolved around, the actual guy is celebrating his 78th birthday today.
Not Abagnale.
No.
Abagnale.
Abagnale, yes.
Oh, such a good movie. I want to. It's very long though. And that was released
It is quite
back
a
when,
long movie.
And that was when movies typically didn't go over 90 minutes. So I'm surprised I had the attention span for it back then. But I also had dial-up internet, so I wasn't online all the time.
I've got the DVD sitting at the house.
Look at you.
I know. But yeah.
So if you want to win a backyard putting green, golfer. That's what I was trying to say. 306.
Yeah, I wonder where that came from.
936-6262. Full of wisdom and knowledge. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers. They got what you need, or at least they probably do. Deal with the owner directly, 600 Albert Street. For right now, I want to chat with our next guest here, who is standing by on the Western Pizza guest hotline, and I'm excited for this conversation. She is a PWHL play-by-play voice, an Olympic broadcaster, Daniella Ponticelli. Thanks for taking the time.
Of course. Great to be with you both.
Did you watch Catch Me If You Can? Was that in your repertoire?
I did. I actually rewatched it recently, which made me chuckle when you guys were having this conversation. Don't know why. It was one of those nights where, when you're just like, I want to watch a movie. I don't know what I want to watch. And it was the first thing that popped up. I'm like, yes, let's just do it. Let's rewatch it. It is great. It stands the test of time, too, given, it's not the newest film, but it is so good. So many great performances, not only Leo, but everybody else as well.
Well, yeah, we kept saying just how bad we felt for the poor nurse. Oh, yes. Amy Adams. Yeah. I forget her name. But, oh, man. Anyway, getting off
she's
track.
So young.
I know. So, okay, we're going to get to the Walter Cup here in a moment. PWHL playoffs start this week. More on that in a sec. First, I want to turn the spotlight onto you. You just called your 90th broadcast last week. That is a major milestone. I know that you're probably beyond that now. But did you have a minute to soak that in, or was it just another day at the office?
It was really cool. I mean, I don't really track many of those things. I tracked my 50th, and that's what kind of clued me in. I'm like, I must be getting close. If that was my 50th, I must be getting close to 100. So next season we'll crack, the 100 mark. But it is really wild to think about that, because there are players, of course, who haven't played 90 games. And so it is pretty special to get to have witnessed that much of this very young league and be part of so many incredible moments. The first Michigan, the first shutouts, the first shootout finishes, the first playoff game and wins, etc. It's really cool to be growing with this league and to be with it every step of the way.
I'm not going to make you pick your favorite game, but did you have a welcome to the PWHL moment, one that stands out?
Oh, okay. Ooh. I would say, it's going to sound wild, it wasn't even the first game. It was the game the day after was in Ottawa. It was their home opener, and Poulin finally getting to play, put on the Montreal colors. And so that was pretty surreal to actually get to call a game that has Poulin in it. And then more than that, she gets booed when there's a penalty shot that she's been awarded in the game, and the whole crowd boos, and that just felt surreal. It just reminded everybody, like, oh yeah, we're happy everyone's here, but let's not forget that there's a game to be won, and we don't want Montreal to win, right? This was in Ottawa. So I think that one stands out, but there's so many that I'm so thrilled that I got to be a part of, including actually Saturday's clincher in Ottawa, because of the fact that there's been this through line through the season of Carla McLeod, head coach for the Charge, who's been a mainstay on Team Canada previously, international coach, battling breast cancer. So it was just like a really incredible moment that the team got there under the interim head coach. Apparently Carla is going to be back for the playoffs, which is fantastic to hear. But just a team that's been so resilient through so much change, and they really had a statement finish to clinch their spot.
Favorite place to call a game? Sorry.
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, okay. I've let a few fans know this, so I don't think anyone's coming after me. It's going to be Montreal, and it's going to be both the buildings in Montreal. Place Bell, which is a mini version of the Bell Center. Place Bell holds about 10,000 plus. That place is jam-packed, sold out Tuesday nights, Saturday afternoons, Saturday evenings, Friday nights, whatever day of the week. And it always feels like a nightclub. Even when it's a matinee game, I've done noon games there, and I'm like, what time is it? Like, it just feels like there's just this energy and this vibe, and I just love that. And the Montreal fans show up in spades, and we know that they love hockey, but to see that translate to the women's game so easily, like, no question, the fans travel well as well. So I'm going to have to say, for now, Montreal is one of my favorites, but I do truly love each building has its own charm and genuine fan culture and atmosphere. So that's my diplomatic answer. There's no place I don't like calling, I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
You bring up the fans quite a bit, and, sold out crowds, breaking records this season, last season. The fandom continues to grow. I do want to ask you specifically, though, what is the story behind Debbie the Superfan?
Oh, okay. So Debbie's been there since day one. Her name's Debbie Harrison. She lives somewhere in the GTA. We know that. She's a Toronto Scepter season ticket holder. She also, don't know if she has seasons in Ottawa, but she goes to Ottawa pretty frequently. She just tries to get to as many games as she can. And from day one, her thing is she just wants to dress up as something. So she's dressed up as like a Crayola crayon in the PWHL purple color. She's dressed as a referee. She's dressed as the Walter Cup. She's dressed as the keeper of the cup. She's dressed as... I can't even begin to describe all the different things she's done. Sometimes she'll make props to bring with her. Like she had a tabletop hockey set she made where she decorated it with fully the Scepters and fully the Charge. Like, she is just dedicated, and she spends a lot of time planning all these things out. And so I was pleasantly surprised. It was the Women's Day game, and I actually wasn't calling it. I just happened to be there, and she had a sign for my partner, Becky Keller, and I. And I'm like, okay, I think the ultimate way to say thank you is to dress up as her, because she's dressing up as everything. I'm like, someone's got to dress up as Debbie. And so
if you're watching the stream, we got a video there.
I'm just so pleased that I found what I think to be a really good wig match, I have to say.
You did.
I think I did a decent job there. And you had to get the right kind of glasses. But I mean, she's just a gem. I've always had great chats with her post game, and she just loves, and not only this league, she's been supporting women's hockey for decades, especially Team Canada. There's been full Team Canada fits and all of that. So that's who Debbie is. I love that I get to shout her out. She's pretty amazing.
Okay, cool. Because I saw that over the weekend, and I just knew I had to ask what the story was. I figured that you would be, very familiar with her story, so I appreciate that. But without the fans, obviously, we don't get to see PWHL hockey. But we should talk about some PWHL hockey because we're getting so close. Yeah. Not every Ottawa hockey team is out of the playoffs, so that's good news. Ottawa, Boston, Minnesota, Montreal. Who do you see as peaking at the right time?
Well, I'm gonna go with the underdog Ottawa, but I see a Canadian team. This is gonna be my bold prediction. I see a Canadian team finally being triumphant. I know it's only the third season, but it just feels like with the Canadian teams finishing top two the last 3 seasons, with the exception Boston finally being the first American team to do it this year, I think it makes sense. The Victoire are in the best shape they've ever been, and that's with Poulin having missed so many games due to injury. They finally figured it out. They were super top heavy on their top line. Now they have the depth. They're getting back end scoring. And my goodness, Anne-Renee Desbiens is on another one. I know Team Canada couldn't close it out at the Olympics, but she has been so consistent. But then, of course, you look at a team like Boston, and you have the Olympic champion goaltending there. So there's going to be lots. But I really do believe if I'm going to pick the underdog, I'm going with Ottawa, who is truly the underdog in this situation. The top 3 teams in our league separated themselves quite early in the season, and then it was a fight for the middle, which is to be expected with the expansion teams being in the bottom 2. And it was such a fun fight for the middle that it really felt like it could go anywhere. But then in the last month, especially Ottawa, all the pieces came together. The scoring, the depth, yet again, rookies contributing, and their goaltending, and Gwyneth Phillips, who had the playoff MVP last year. She's back in playoff form, better than ever. So I would be terrified facing Ottawa, which is, I believe, why Montreal decided to go with Minnesota.
I was going to mention that. I think there are so many groundbreaking, fantastic ideas that the PWHL has brought forward, from determining draft order and, again, that whole system. But the playoffs, I think, is amazing how you pick your opponent. How much time and effort do you think goes into analyzing with the analytics into each matchup, or is it more gut?
Oh, that's a great question, because I'm still trying to figure that out. Okay, where are the teams going? Because in my mind, everyone kept asking me, who do you think Montreal's choosing? This was before Montreal officially clinched first, but we sort of knew it was trending that direction. And I'm like, I just don't know how you choose against, or how you choose the back-to-back champs. Minnesota, back-to-back champions. How do you choose them? And the last 2 seasons, they eked their way into the playoffs. And I think that's the difference. They chose Minnesota. Yes, in the regular season, Montreal swept them through their regular season series. That's huge. But more than that, Minnesota clinched their spot, and then they've basically been on this downward spiral of very inconsistent goaltending, majority of losses in the last month. I think they came away with 2 wins. It's just been sloppy play, despite the fact that they have the 2 leading scorers in the league. So for once, this Minnesota team does not appear to have the depth that it had, that was its backbone the last 2 seasons. So I have a feeling there is obviously some analytics involved, but the fact that Montreal decided to be bold, they went with the number 3 seed, so not choosing the number 4, which is the benefit of being number 1. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, Dave, the discussion around, especially the broadcasters, were like, oh man, you're fighting for first so that you can please play 4. We just assumed that nobody would want to touch any of the top 3 teams. So this was a bit of a surprise, but at the same time, I feel like the Victoire are very confident, and in my mind, they're making this pick because of the goaltending. Why on earth would you want to choose a U.S. Olympic champion goaltender, which is what you get in the 1 and 2? Now, just to remind everyone, you don't get to choose the number 2 seed. Not that, again, you ever would, but you don't get that. You can't upset somebody's home ice advantage. So the top 2 teams are the top 2 teams, but the first place team gets to choose between the third and fourth. And I don't know what next year's playoffs will look like if expansion is indeed coming, what will happen then, because of course this was half the field this year. It went from, 4 teams of 6. This year was 4 teams of 8.
That was exactly what Tegan was talking about. She goes, Dave, I got to find out about this playoffs.
I just thought you might have the inside scoop. Are they going to be adding more teams to the playoff format? Because like you said, there's only half of them in there.
I always have to tell everyone I am not the authority. I'm just going with what the feeling in the gut is. But expansion was always on the table this season, and initially there were comments made to media about between 2 to 4 teams. I believe that's been echoed yet again, that it's going to be that. Now whether all 4 teams, if it is 4 or whatever, that they'll all start next season, TBD. We have no clue where. There's a lot of interesting reports going around of places that never got a takeover tour game. So this would all be new to us because, of course, the 2 teams, Vancouver, Seattle, that were added last season. First of all, those were announced April 23rd and April 30th. So we're getting very close to when Seattle was announced last season. But the point is, they were very successful takeover tour games, even though we've also always been told it's not just about the attendance. It comes down to the community interest, the minor hockey culture around the women's game in said city or market, a number of factors, right? And just to remind everyone at home, the league does currently own all these teams. So this isn't about having to find an owner in the market yet. But of course, you have to think that that's going to be a big part of the discussion is there that corporate interest and growth so that if and when that time comes, those teams can stay in those markets.
Maybe this is an outsider looking in, but to me it seems like everything the PWHL has touched has turned to gold. Do they need to be worried? Like, again, if you're going expansion, and again, the takeover tour from my outside perspective, and that's where I guess I ask you, Daniella, is it looks like everything is all roses. Everything is great. Can you do that in 2 and or 4 other markets in 1 year?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It seems like whatever decision is going to be made is the decision that's going to be best. And you're right. So far, it has all come out really wonderful, and I do want to give so much credit to the Olympic bump that happened this season. Not that our attendance was down at all; our attendance was doing very well. But just to give you some perspective, you go from some takeover tour spots being kind of close to full, maybe not fully sold out, to Olympics hits, and that's sold out. I mean, that's just fact when you look at the ticket sales. So there was absolutely a post-Olympic bump. The American markets, oh my, did they ever benefit from that? It makes sense. Their team not only obviously won the Olympics, but it just revived this energy and passion around their sports and what's available. Let's not forget the impact of heated rivalry. Truly, I know that might sound a little crazy, but when it comes to our market and the LGBTQS community being a huge part of the fandom of this league and wanting to spend their dollars in this league, whether it's going to a takeover tour game or otherwise. So there's so many factors that made this 3rd season especially extra sweet. I mean, the fact is we hit 1 million fans in this season alone, whereas last season, towards the end, we finally had 1 million fans through the first 2 seasons. That also comes with, of course, bigger buildings. Toronto had a very small building year 1, year 2, obviously tripled in size. So there's a lot of factors. You start adding in these games like Madison Square Garden where you're getting 18,000, 19,000. It's very exciting. But you're right. I mean, you can look at this 2 ways. Do you slow down because of that? But at the end of the day, this league has got its plans set. They've never been shy of making those bold and seemingly fast decisions. And again, I'm not their spokesperson. I'm just someone who gets to enjoy the view, sort of not from the inside, but from a very unique seat. Because you do see it all. You see the teams traveling so much more. You see the intense pickup in schedules, but then you also see these athletes finally getting massive platforms and these incredible deals on the side and like all these amazing things happening and this big groundswell of attention to the league. That's my not so succinct way of saying, I'm not sure, Dave. But it is true. It's a very exciting time. I'm enjoying it. But I have to say, I trust the decision makers in this league. They've done a great job so far, and here's hoping that they can continue to forge ahead in the right way.
You bring up one of those attendance factors being the Olympic bump, and I think that we all are aware of that. But for a strong Saskatchewan contingent and fans of women's hockey, I know they're going to be watching one name in particular. I know I was poking fun at Ottawa hockey fans, but Emily Clark, Ottawa Charge. For young players, what does this say to them about the growth of the game and being able to watch someone on such a massive stage like that?
I mean, Emily Clark is an inspiration to all of us. I think back to when I first got to meet her. It was right after she had earned silver, we'll put it that way, in 2018. And I remember meeting her for the first time. She'd come home, and there was just a small little group of fans who were welcoming her back at the Saskatoon airport. She was so gracious, of course. And obviously that means so much to have people welcome you. And now that's changed where you got people lining the streets ready to meet you. She's got her own beer. There's all this excitement. But I think it just goes to show that no matter where you're from, if you work hard and you continue to push forward and try your best and just keep pushing your limits, take risks, go to the Olympics and fall just short of a gold. It doesn't mean anything. You can still be one of the best, if not the best in the world. I mean, she is. We know that. She's won gold for Canada since then. But the point is, she's just an inspiration, truly, even for me, because I'm someone from the prairies who didn't ever think, I didn't know where I'd go in my career, let alone, to more of a national stage. And she finally gets that. I also do want to shout out the fact that this year's playoffs features all three Saskatchewan players. So you've got Emily Clark, Brooke Hobson are both now on the Charge. Brooke Hobson was with the New York Sirens the last 2 years. She's a defender. She's one of their best. She was injured for 7 of the last 8 games, but then she came back Saturday and got an assist on the first goal. So she's a big impact player for them. And of course, Sophie Shirley as well. She'll be back with Boston. She was the first Saskatchewan player to play in the playoffs because New York and Ottawa weren't in their year one. So really exciting time. And I love that. Great representation. We've also got Maritimers, Atlantic Canadians in the mix. It's pretty great representation.
So if I may just shift gears here really quick, because I know we are running out of time and you're a busy person. Okay, you were at game 1 in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yes.
Buffalo Sabres when they pulled off that big 4-3 win over the Bruins. I just need to know from your perspective, what in the world was it like being in that rink?
Oh, it was so fun. It was, this is what I love about sports. I love those big moments, and I will give full credit. My boyfriend's the lifelong Sabres fan, and it has been so fun getting acquainted with that fan base and that team over the last few years, because obviously Buffalo is like a 2-hour drive for us, right? It's really close. It's like between here and Regina and Saskatoon. So we love to go. The food is great. The fans are great. The vibes are great. Of course, I was a little nervous getting in there, but as soon as you see Sabretooth, the mascot, rappelling, I'm pretty sure he had tears in his eyes. It was epic. That alone set the whole scene. And then, of course, it gets a little bit dicey when there's no goals, and then you're down 2. As soon as the first one went in, it was just like this. You could feel everyone's weight and emotion just release. It was so awesome. I mean, listen, I got to witness, and I know Dave did too, in Winnipeg, the Riders winning the Grey Cup. There's always that feeling when you haven't been in those moments for a long time, that just collective relief and just, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. But that was wild. And then they just scored again, and they scored again. I did not have a voice the next day, which was not great, but it was
in your
awesome.
line of work?
I'm so glad.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. It was a rough Tuesday broadcast, but we got through it. But thanks for asking. No, it was amazing. I'm so glad we went, and we moved quite a few things around to get there, but it's very exciting. Really exciting.
Did you see the Blade Gang? The fans fully dressed up in uniform with rollerblades on? Okay.
But I saw the videos after. Yeah. I saw the videos after.
I just needed to know. And then also a lot of people being shocked by the fact that they play the Canadian anthem. in that barn.
Yes, so I knew that because I've been obviously to Buffalo games, and I've always actually appreciate that about that team. I mean, they're not technically my team, but obviously I'm backing them now. But the point is, I thought that was just such a classy touch, and they've always done that. They've done that since, I believe, the 90s. So maybe not always, but for a very long time, and that's never changed. They deeply respect their Canadian fans, and they have many. I mean, we saw some pretty long lines to cross the border when we were there that day, and they were moving people pretty quickly, but there's a lot of fans in Canada.
And they do find like little ways. I was even talking to Dave about this. I was doing a little bit more research as to why they do this. And I think, it's obvious as to why. But even the way they spell sabers, it's R-E, not E-R. It's the Canadianized version, right?
It just looks better. I mean, Canadian spelling over American spelling. It really was special. When I first witnessed that, I'm like, that is really amazing, because obviously when it's a Canadian team they're playing, you don't even think of it, but it was an all-American matchup, and hey, check it out. Like, that's a very classy touch. And I know it's tough because on the one hand, I'm also someone who's like, I don't know if we need to have anthems at every game. Playoffs are different, but I'm talking about like just every game in a season. But at the same time, if you're going to do an anthem every game, why not include the two anthems of the countries that make your league what it is? So very nice touch.
At least fans have stopped booing the anthems. I'm glad we're past that.
Yeah, why are you bringing that up?
Exactly.
Because I knew people were going to start texting in about it, okay?
Don't remind people that we're supposed to be unhappy. No, I'm just kidding.
We're all just getting along
That
now.
was always very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable, sort of navigating that time. So you're right, we are making progress there.
Well, I'm glad you were able to hang up the headphones and watch what was one hell of a game in Buffalo.
Oh, it was so much fun. I love being a fan, right? Like, I just love sports. I love being a fan as much as anything else. And it was really special. I think my voice is still a bit raw from that. That was like a week ago. Just the screams and the excitement. It was really awesome.
Well, I'm glad that you had a great time, and I hope that you enjoy the PWHL playoffs when the quest for the Walter Cup starts a little bit later on this week, Daniella. And as always, really appreciate the time.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
As always, Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. That, of course, was Daniella Ponticelli, PWHL play-by-play voice and Olympic broadcaster, joining us here on the Sports Cage, which is brought to you by Smokem Diesel. If you're a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smokem Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, and all diesel hard parts. For your diesel parts and repair needs, contact Smokem Diesel. We are going to take a quick break, but still to come, we are going to take a look at your sprinkle of the day. We'll decide what we want to maybe sprinkle on today. We'll do your clutch performer, and then Crofty, all of that before 5 o'clock, and then afterwards, Ryder from Oilers Nation and the Sauce Podcast. Plus, we'll have Darian Durant, as we always do, just after 5 o'clock on Mondays. This is the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The original 620 CKRM Country Cookouts are back for the spring. Listen to CKRM for the dinner bell cue to call for the chance to win a delicious meal from Nikki's Cafe and Catering for your hard-working crew. We'll also bring live music and prizes. CKRM will help bring your farm community alive. Our way of thanking you for all of the years and support. Sponsored by
Municipal Hail Insurance, International Rural Exchange Canada, Original 16, the premium Prairie Beer, and Nikki's Cafe and Catering.
Karen explains why she is comfortable investing her money with Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
I don't have to worry about it. Once I do it, I know it's looked after, and I have seen good success as well in our investment. He's very knowledgeable, he's very trustworthy, and he wants the best for his clients.
Don't guess with your money. Call Brian at 306-546-2533. SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pump Jacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring. That's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
The auction calendar is stacked at Ritchie Brothers, and an exciting Regina auction is happening May 28th. Visit their website or Regina location to view a wide variety of used heavy equipment from top brand manufacturers. You won't want to miss this great opportunity. Head to rbauction.com/Regina to sign up and be ready for the auction. Again, that's rbauction.com/Regina.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. I know that I've had this. Okay, you know what? I don't want to give anything away. I'm actually going to throw it over to Colson to go first today.
But I'm not ready.
Oh, well, he's not ready? That's
Wow.
okay. Then I'm going to put Dave on the spot.
Me on the spot?
Go for it.
Well, you know what? I kind of went back and forth. And at one point, I was thinking that Dwayne Ford would be my clutch performer again. I think he should be a CFL general manager. Just he has that much knowledge when it comes to Canadian talent and identifying them. But that's kind of my half. But the clutch performer, I think, has got to go to Mike Reagan, the general manager and head coach of the Flin Flon Bombers, win their first championship over the Yorkton Terriers, 4-game sweep. First time since 1993 Flin Flon hoist the cup. Again, you look what that organization has been through.
Yeah.
Out of the last 4 championships, they've lost 3. And again, found a way to get over the top. They were dominant front to back in the series. And Mike Reagan, again, good guy all around, and deserves to see the hard work that he puts into it pay off. So, Mike Reagan.
Clutch.
I have mine now.
Let's go.
Right.
So, for the first time ever, we have a sub 2-hour marathon run.
Oh.
Not just one, though. We have 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to also give an honorary clutch performer to third place, which was Jacob Kliplimo, because he came in at 2 hours and 28 seconds, which, if it wasn't today, it would have been the world record. But Yomif Kajelka, 1 hour, 59 minutes, 41 seconds, and Sebastian Saw, 1 hour, 59 minutes, 30 seconds. The first 2 sub 2-hour marathons ever, which is nuts.
That is insane.
Yeah. And then my follow-up unclutch performer, because we give those out every now and then.
I like it.
Going to Alfredtown and Curzon Ashton. Those are English football teams who finished in a 3-3 tie, which resulted in both of them getting relegated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's a rough one.
That's tough.
The whole stadium's just sad there because
everyone is distraught.
Yeah, because
nobody wins.
Okay, oh well. Oh, we're both relegated. Oh, so yeah, that's a rough one, and it's not a 0-0 tie either. It's 3-3.
Yeah.
So you had hope.
Put in the work.
You had hope.
Yeah, well, fans got their money's worth. At least they saw one heck of a game.
Oh, and I'm reading the comments. Apparently, it was 3-0 at one point too.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
That hurts.
There we go.
That is unclutch. Okay. I brought up my first clutch performer once before, but I feel like it's appropriate to revisit it. Anze Kopitar. I brought him up at the end of the regular season. At that point, we weren't sure if the Kings were going to be in the postseason. So he officially called it a career after they were swept by a career. Colson just looked at me and started laughing. Serious here. Anze Kopitar, after the Kings got swept by Colorado, he was waving to the fans. He was saying goodbye. You can see it on the stream right now if you're watching at sportscage.com, Twitter, or our YouTube as well. 2 Stanley Cups, 3 Lady Byng trophies, 2 Selke trophies, all-time points leader in franchise history. In fact, numerous franchise records. He spent 20 years donning that. There was even thank you Kopi chants that were in the last minute of the game. I think it was like 45 seconds remaining. The crowd just started going nuts with just thank you Kopi chants, and I thought that was really cool. He's a future Hall of Famer. I don't think he's eligible for a little while longer, a few more years, but I just thought it was really worth bringing him up again because we're going to miss Kopi, and it makes you wonder what's next for the Kings.
I'll be honest with you. I think he's one of the more underrated players.
He's been quietly consistent.
Yeah.
At least as of the past 5 years or so, in my opinion.
Well, again, 20-year career is nothing.
No.
And 2 Stanley Cup victories, right? Like
he's got a couple rings.
He's done it right. And I don't know if you saw the post-game media conference, right? So
with his kids?
His kids come up there, and the best answer that I saw was where he said, like, what's going to be different or whatever. He goes, well, now I get an opportunity to be these kids' dad. I'm not a part-time dad anymore. And I'm like, well, you probably weren't, but that weighs heavily on your mind, right? In that situation. So now I can go to games, now I can go to events. So I thought that was cool that was the thing that he pointed out.
For the Hockey Hall of Fame, if you're a player, referee, or linesperson, you have to have not been active in any professional or international games for the 3 seasons prior.
So 2029.
Correct.
See, I can do math.
Assuming he doesn't play a pickup game here or there internationally.
Go to the World Championships or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So potentially eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Well, he will be eligible sometime in the next 3-ish years.
But I don't even know, again, I don't think there's any doubt that he's a Hall of Famer likely, but I don't know if he'll be like the first ballot, first year eligibility guy.
I think that he probably will be.
Yeah.
I think so, just because of the legacy that he leaves behind. You look at the stat sheet, you look at everything. Like, he might be, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just my opinion, but I think he might be one of the greatest LA players of all time.
He'll definitely be honored in LA. I think it depends on the class, as we've learned with Hall of Fames over this last year and a bit, where, this is so-and-so's last chance to get in the Hall of Fame. I got to vote for him.
What do you mean, Colson? It's never political.
Well, and don't forget, Alex Ovechkin could be eligible for that same draft class, or that same Hall of Fame class.
But do you really think that he's done?
Does the Russian league count as professional hockey? Because I imagine
KHL. You think he'll go play KHL?
I wouldn't be surprised if he went home to play for his hometown team, played a Yager and buys his hometown team and then plays for it.
I think it's NHL or nothing for Ovi.
Yeah, I don't know how you walk away from that and go down to the KHL, but that's his decision to make. And he wasn't really clear that this was going to be his last year or not.
No.
I don't think, because he waved off the handshake line with the Pens, I don't think that this is it.
I
think he'll sign another 1-year contract.
If I had not seen that, I would have said he was done.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just Ovi. I don't know.
Maybe
I've never met the guy.
Like the Penguins. They had a few playoff battles, right?
A couple.
I think if he's going to shake only one person's hand, it's going to be Crosby. I'm just saying.
But you can't go up and shake one guy's hand and not the rest.
But I'm saying, if you're going to be honest and be like, yeah, this is my last year, he's going to go shake Crosby's hand, whether that's on the ice, off the ice, whatever. Right?
Well, same game off the ice, right? He went ahead and he did the jersey exchange with Crosby, with Malkin, and somebody else. But there was a third player. But again, when you're doing that to me means I'm gone. See you later. But who knows?
I guess we'll find out next season or in the off season. The other clutch performer I had, sorry, we went off on a tangent there. I have had this player, this athlete, as a clutch performer, but I think it's worth mentioning again, Maddox Schultz, TELUS Cup MVP of the tourney, bronze medalist, sure, not exactly what they were hoping for. They would have wanted to win the whole thing, but I still think with the season that he had, not only with the Pat Canadians, but balancing everything with the WHL, Regina Pats, I think that he had an incredible year.
Oh, him and Liam Pugh. Again, and the pressure that's put on them, right? Like, and again, a lot of it is self-pressure. I'm with you that's very true. And, I won't kid you, when I found out the Patsies lost the semifinal and then won the bronze, I question life choices because the people I hang around with, because, now Maddox, this was brought up. Maddox Schultz's reputation is tarnished because they didn't win back-to-back TELUS Cups. And I'm like...
You know how many professional hockey players haven't gotten that sniff at the TELUS Cup?
Oh, exactly. And I'm like...
That's a real hot take.
And again, hence, right? Again, life choices, Dave. Life choices, manage who you hang around with. But I couldn't believe that would be a take on a kid that, how many hockey games did Maddox Schultz play this year? When you consider Hockey Canada, when you consider the Pat Canadians, when you consider the Regina Pats, again, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of really difficult stretches within that hockey season.
At least 60 by my math here right now, as I'm looking at.
Because I know there was only a certain amount of games that he could play in the WHL because of his age.
Yeah.
So that's why, there was a lot of splitting.
Right?
Yeah, 30.
He played 34.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Played 34.
And then some, because
and
it resets in the postseason.
Then the Regina Pats Canadians when he was available. And again,
there's also
they play the playoffs, the tournament, right?
There's the TELUS Cup too, which isn't on here. There's also the Circle K. So actually, it looks like over 70 once you start factoring tournaments and stuff too. Then
and he still managed to finish it off with 4 points and a 6-2 win in the bronze medal game.
Kept up his school at an elite level, and I think also got his driver's license, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think we had someone tell us that on Patch Chat.
I know he's 16 now.
Yep.
But
I has been for over a month.
Right. So now he doesn't need to ask his teammates for rides everywhere.
No, but Liam Pugh does, even though he's 16, right? Because he's from BC and different rules.
Yep.
Different rules. Okay, one more real quick.
Sure.
This one is not an athlete. Well, maybe. Not really an athlete, though. I love Gritty. For the Flyers.
Flyers mascot?
Yeah, I do. I really like Gritty. And here's the thing, because he's essentially the epitome of what they represent in their marketing, and I think it's hilarious. So he beat up this mascot in a Penguins uniform in the first game in Philly, and then the Penguin comes back out. He's on crutches. He's all wrapped up, and if you're watching the stream, you can see Gritty beating the you-know-what out of him, and then picking him up and throwing him down towards the crowd off of the upper bowl. Yeah, just tosses him. The whole crowd is just going wild. It's just... I mean, he's a menace.
Remember how much pushback there was when they introduced Gritty, how everybody didn't like him? And then you got to credit the performer inside, right? That's who made
the
Gritty.
Clutch performer. Yeah. That is for sure the Clutch performer, because the athleticism. I don't know if you saw the first fight with that Penguin, but it was... He bounced off the wall with his leg and he swung a haymaker. It's kind of impressive. Yeah. So I think that again, not the most serious Clutch performer that we mentioned today, but worth an honorable mention.
Speaking of performer, I don't know. Sorry, I'll be quiet real quick. But speaking of performer, Colson, how did that tryout for Gaynor go?
He's just shaking his head.
Sorry,
not doing it. Have they found a
I don't
mascot
know.
yet?
I have no idea.
That'd be a fun job. Not on the 35 plus degree days, but it would still be a lot of fun.
Mascot technology has come a long way. That's all I'll say.
True.
There's some
he has the inside scoop, so do not go ahead.
He signed an NDA.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why.
There are some suits that have AC units and stuff in them now. It's nuts.
Bring him out. Sorry.
Come on, you'd have so much fun hanging off that golf cart. After touchdowns? Oh, yeah. Yep. If he didn't apply them, we should just go fill out an application for him.
That's what my brother did with my email growing up. I'm like, why am I getting these emails for winning a car at the mall? Oh, thanks.
So, Dave, when are you going to tell him you did that at the Red Sox dinner and just entered in for every silent auction item under Colson's name?
You have won and now owe me.
Okay, that would be unclutch. Your Clutch performer brought to you by Keln Solar. They can help with your livestock operations. Book now your solar quotes for your home, your farm, or your cabin. Save money with the local company, Keln Solar in Lumsden. We should probably get to our sprinkle of the day. So, Sprinkle of the Day brought to you by Sports Select. You can get in on all the sports action you want. It's as easy as going to the website sportsselect.com. All you really have to do, make your picks online, get that QR code, and then go lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer, wherever that might be near you. You can also do it old school and do it right on site. Every bet is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select, when you're ready to play, bet on the original. You must be 18 plus, and you better play responsibly. So you can check out futures, but I'm wondering if maybe we look at this Flyers-Penguins matchup. Okay, so the over-under, over-under 5.5. Would you take that?
Yeah. I don't like the defense on either team, so I think...
You're going to go the over?
I'll go over.
Okay.
I don't think that Pittsburgh keeps their season... Well, actually, you know what? I do think Pittsburgh keeps their season alive because Game 5 is at home.
Yeah.
But...
You think it's done in Philly?
It'll be done in Philly.
Game 6?
But again, Philadelphia's been dominant, I think.
I don't even know.
Right now,
I think I would take...
Pittsburgh is favored to win at home.
I know, but I don't... I think I would take... I'd take Philly. I think
Or
I would
go
take
with the
Philly.
tie. Go with the tie. If you're,
I mean, yeah, but that's
a Barney move.
That's no fun.
That's a Barney move.
Yeah, that's no fun. I'm not good at this. We all know that.
Vegas and Utah tonight. Thoughts?
Vegas and Utah. You know what? I think I would go with the Mammoth. I'd take that. I'd take that action.
Leading in the series. I almost
Pro line, yeah.
It's kind of a dumpster fire with Vegas and Tortorella. And no, not saying that he's done anything bad or not. I just think that the situation that he walked into is a really, really tough one late in the season.
Yeah.
To try to bring in you. Because I would say you're mostly left with him, if you know what I mean.
True.
So I don't know. I just really think that Utah has taken advantage of that. And to me, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
I agree. I think, yeah, definitely taking that on the pro line. So, yeah, if you want to get in on the action, again, you can still go play along with who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup final, if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Go do a little sprinkle action on that. NBA final for that matter, NCAA, soccer, NASCAR, whatever. It's on Sports Select, sportsselect.com. We should probably take a quick break here. Coming up next, we'll catch up with Crofty quick before the news. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Got a landscape project in mind this year, but not sure how to bring it together? Hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. This is where projects get stuck, not knowing what to do first. That's what our project consult is for. We'll come out, walk the space with you, and help you build a clear plan. Whether you're doing it yourself or need a contractor, we'll point you in the right direction. Book your project consult today at therustyshovel.ca/consult. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. 2 green thumbs up.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Sports ticker for Extreme Hockey. The Riders have made a pair of signings today. All-American defensive tackle Thor Griffith, as well as 3-time All-Conference American offensive lineman Thomas Perry. WHL Conference Finals. Everett in Penticton taking on the V's. Everett up 2 games in that series. By the way, in the East, Raiders, Tigers, all evened up at a game apiece. Game 3 is tomorrow in Alberta. NHL playoffs, Golden Knights taking on the Mammoth in Utah. Utah up 2-1. Philadelphia Flyers looking to pack it up and move on to the next round in Pittsburgh tonight as they face the Penguins. World Seniors Curling Championships. So it's in Geneva, Switzerland this week. And Saskatoon's Bruce Cote representing Canada. Cordy. I will get it right.
Bruce has been called a lot of different things, though. And you should hear how the pronunciation of his last name is handled in some arenas.
Well, I'm working on it, okay?
No, I'm not pointing that. Sorry, I didn't mean to point that out.
No, I appreciate you correcting me. Please do. Canada did beat Slovenia this morning, 9-2. So, MLB action real quick here. Toronto Blue Jays, Boston Red Sox. That's going to be kicking off here in about 10 minutes or so. Dylan Cease on the mound. Trey Savage will be returning tomorrow. But in other news, right-hander Max Scherzer has been placed on the 15-day IL due to tendonitis in his right forearm. And, of course, that inflammation in his left ankle. Sportscage.com poll, did the NHL get it right when they said, yep, that Anaheim Ducks goal was good to go in overtime in Game 4? Yes? No? Or There's got to be a better way to figure this stuff out. So if you want to let us know, you can always text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line as well. Prairie Land Rentals. From small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. And that, of course, was your sports ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey. And now we're going to head out. We should probably chat with our buddy here before we got to get to news. Dan Croft Electric, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Crofty, how are you?
I am great. How's your Monday going?
Well, a couple stumbles here and there, but overall, I can't complain. Did you watch that race in Talladega?
I did.
That huge crash?
I was watching. I was actually in the yard for the first stage, but I caught the second two stages. So I missed the big one as they call it at racetracks like that one. But I caught the last crash and the winner and the best celebration lap that I've seen in a long time is Dale Earnhardt.
Ooh, that's saying something. You watched the crash though? You saw that?
26 cars.
I saw the replay of the big one, the big crash.
Yeah,
oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Did you think there had to be a touch from behind, right, for him to get loose like that?
Usually, or depends on, sometimes even the arrow takes the air off the back of those wheels and then they get loose. But it looked like he bumped him. It looked like he gave him a little, as they call it, rubbing, right? Rubbing's racing. So.
Well, I guess we're not here just to have you talk about the race on the weekend. We should probably talk about what's happening over at Croft Electric, man.
For sure. I thought you were going to ask me about the Oiler goal. We'll just leave that one alone. as an Oiler fan, so
it wasn't going to go there.
No, exactly. What's going on? Yeah, we're having a great Monday. Currently there's a bunch of stuff going on. One thing too, we're excited. We're joining your country cookouts, so we're getting excited to maybe make a few of those. Get out and meet and greet some of our farm friends. When we have time. So I'm excited personally for that, and Chastity from my office is also going to try and come along to a few of them and try and hit as many as we can. So that's exciting. And then of course, there's the spring coming. Let's keep saying that spring is coming because it is going to get here eventually.
We'll manifest it.
Right, exactly. We're still want people to sign up for that preferred customer program. So because we are all going to get busy around here and everywhere, and we want people to have priority booking because we want to make sure we can get out and help all of our clients, whether it be our farm clients or Regina clients or home clients, whatever. We want to give them that priority booking so that when they need us, we can be available. And then I guess the other thing is we're looking to expand our staff here, both in the office and out in the field. So, if there's, somebody that's looking to be a project manager or help with estimating, or maybe a good service journey person or a construction journey person that would like to join our fun team, get a hold of us.
I absolutely love that. Glad that you're going to be joining us on Country Cookouts because you can customize, for industrial, farm, residential, and commercial. You do it once, you do it right. Get in touch with Crofty and the rest of the team at Croft Electric, 306-586-1333. You can also check out croftelectric.com and all socials. Thank you so much for doing this, Crofty.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Dan Croft joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. We're going to take a quick break. We got to get to news. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Pack your bags and get ready for a trip of a lifetime. 620 CKRM and Kloss are giving you the chance to experience 6 unforgettable days in Germany. Enjoy a scenic Rhine River cruise, incredible food, local wine, and unforgettable nights taking in the culture, sights, and sounds of Germany. And yes, you'll also tour the Kloss World Headquarters and see how everything's built up close. Be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at across southern Saskatchewan and catch chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw happens this July at Ag in Motion. Don't miss your shot at the Kloss Germany trip giveaway on 620 CKRM.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Picture this, a crust so golden it could blind a superhero. Toppings piled higher than a stack of pancakes on a trampoline. Every bite, a flavor explosion. Every slice, a hug for your taste buds. Garlic, roasted to perfection. Pepperoni, perfectly spicy. Western Pizza is so good, you'll argue who gets the last slice. Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
The warm weather has arrived, and now is the time to get outside. Stop by Cash Tactical Regina and get geared up. From rugged clothing, boots, packs, outdoor gear, varmint rifles, ammunition, knives, and more. They've got whatever Saskatchewan throws at you. Spring adventures start with the right gear. Spring has arrived. Don't fall behind. Visit Cash Tactical, 7th Ave Regina in-store or online. Cash Tactical. Be ready for what's next.
Ow! Pizzle sticks! That coffee was hot! Burned my lip!
Oh, gee, I'm sorry, straight guy. Would you like me to sit in your lap and cuddle with you?
What? Why would I ever want that?
It's a new service I'm offering at Cowtown. Very exclusive. You'll need to get on a waiting list.
What are you talking about now?
I've decided to be an emotional support cow for the stars. But I won't forget about the little people, like you.
What stars?
Rover, Whiskers, Muffin and Fluffy, Rex.
Those are our customers' pets. Just send them home with quality, nutritious pet food from Cowtown, and they'll feel truly loved. Sign up for the frequent feeder program, and you can get free pet food.
So, do you want a little cuddle?
In town, out of town, for the best for your pet, it's gotta be Cowtown. Toys and treats to healthy food options. And we promise, no cow will try and sit on your lap. Cowtown Canada on Facebook.
So, how many people have signed up for your emotional support cow program?
Well, no one. Yet.
Do you want to come over to my place and cuddle on the grill? You'll feel all warm inside.
Looking to upgrade your deck this season? Don't miss the biggest Trex composite decking sale of the year at Fries Tallman. From May 4th to May 16th, save 15% off in-stock Trex composite decking. Perfect for your home or cottage. And Fries Tallman will deliver right to your house or cottage, making it easier than ever to get your dream deck built. Visit FriesTallman.com and take advantage of the Trex composite decking sale. Fries Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. Mainly cloudy and 2 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. And brought to you by the Capital Automotive Group. Capital's 100K giveaway is back. See capital100k.ca for more information. Funding for the Saskatchewan Highway Patrol is set to increase in the province's next budget. The patrol will receive an extra $713,000, boosting enforcement capacity and adding 5 new officers. Officials say the investment will help remove unsafe vehicles from highways and disrupt criminal activity. Last year, officials conducted thousands of inspections and seized large amounts of illegal tobacco. The province says that the funding will help protect families and keep Saskatchewan highways safe as traffic continues to grow. Regina is moving ahead with major infrastructure upgrades in 2026, investing $147 million in roads and water systems. City officials say the work helps address long-standing infrastructure needs and supports a growing population. Projects include road revitalization, sewer upgrades, and drainage improvements near Wascana Creek. Some work is already underway, with more starting later this season. The city says it will limit disruptions where possible, including scheduling major closures on weekends. Residents are encouraged to plan ahead and use the city's online construction map. Tourism in Regina is expected to continue to grow this year, according to city officials. The city says more than 100 events are scheduled in 2026, bringing visitors for concerts, trade shows, and sporting events. Last year, tourism created over $135 million in economic impact and attracted more than 170,000 visitors. Officials say hotels are seeing increased bookings. While fuel prices are rising, the city says Regina remains an affordable destination with attractions and venues located close to one another. A detailed tourism report is expected in early 2027. Exploring Regina's past is getting a digital twist through a unique retro-style game. Web developer Kenton DeJohn built Regina Cemetery Tours, an interactive experience where players navigate a virtual cemetery and uncover about 80 historical stories. As the game progresses, users unlock more complex and somber events from the city's history, alongside profiles of notable residents. The idea evolved from in-person tours DeJohn launched in 2017. Since then, the game has reached thousands and continues to grow, with new content expected in future upgrades. A week of cookies is set to deliver a major boost for two Regina organizations supporting health and safety. First Steps Wellness Center and Sophia Health are the chosen charities for this year's Tim Hortons Smile Cookie campaign, which runs until May 3rd at participating locations across the city. Andrew Schmidt with the First Steps Wellness Center says every cookie sold helps fund essential rehabilitation services for people living with spinal cord injuries, brain injuries, multiple sclerosis, and other neurological conditions. He says the impact is both immediate and long-term for clients rebuilding their independence. The campaign launch included a visit from Saskatchewan Roughriders players at the 4th Avenue First Steps Wellness Center, helping spotlight the fundraiser and its community impact across Regina. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
Feeling the high gas prices? We got you. At Crestview Chrysler, the all-new Jeep Cherokee Hybrid is here, and it's built to go further for less. With an awesome 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers and over 800 kilometers of range, you'll spend a lot more time driving and a lot less time filling up. Oh, and no plug-in needed, just fuel up and go. More room, more tech, more peace of mind with a much smaller fuel bill. The all-new Jeep Cherokee Hybrid at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Picture this. You sit down to watch TV and suddenly your screen freezes harder than a triple axle. If you're ready for a smoother routine, Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has a better idea. Max TV Stream. More streaming, less buffering. A performance that actually sticks the landing. And while you're at it, glide into fast SaskTel internet and cell phone packages that are balanced, reliable, and make sense for your household. Smart entertainment, smart connectivity. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle. kevinsmarine.com.
Quiet conditions continue for most of this week as temperatures will trend up. Still some cool nights. We'll be back well below freezing overnight, down to around -8, but with a gentle northwesterly breeze. And then a sunny sky on Tuesday. That same light wind as we climb up to around 7. Normal high this time of year, 15. It'll take a few more days to get there as we fall back to -6 Tuesday night and then 9 degrees on Wednesday, but the sky remains clear, mostly sunny through the day. Just a couple of passing clouds Tuesday night. Sunday, we'll make that run at normal. Mostly sunny sky getting up to around 14. A ridge of high pressure is strongly building northward. It will take over across much of the country, a very blocked pattern with a deep trough digging out of eastern Canada all the way into the mid-Atlantic U.S. That will leave us in this warm pattern right through the end of the week, right through the weekend, and it looks like into early next week as well. We'll stay pretty mild. Temperature at 14 by Thursday, 20 on Friday, backing off into the mid-teens, right on par for this time of year for the weekend. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Phil Spivak.
At Kevin's Marine, the lineup is stacked and ready. Legendary Lund boats built for serious fishing and non-stop family fun. Stretch out, crank the tunes, and cruise in style on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest. Or drop the throttle and make waves in a 4-wind sport boat. All powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle or kevinsmarine.com.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Smokem Diesel in Regina. So you want to do it yourself? No problem. We sell injection pumps, injectors, and turbos to fit all your needs. Find us on Facebook today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well, thank you for being here. Monday installment of the Sports Cage. I'm Tegan Whitco with Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and of course, Colson Schultz on the board, keeping us on the stream on sportscage.com, X, as well as YouTube. Join in the conversation there at any point, or you can always text us. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. By the way, that Toronto-Boston game is now underway. Jays, Red Sox, so we'll keep you posted on that. Still scoreless. Only top of the first, 2 out. And Dave asked me the most random question. What do you think of the stash on Dylan Cease? What do you think, Dave?
Big soup strainer. I don't know.
It seems to be doing the trick, so I don't know. I say he keeps it. At least until the end of the season.
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
No. Monday edition of the Sports Cage brought to you by Smokem Diesel. For European diesels, pickups, tractors, and semis, we have your hard parts. For all your diesel parts and repair needs, contact Smokem Diesel, genuine OEM replacement diesel parts. They do not sell junk. All right, let's not keep our next guest waiting any longer here and jump out on the Western Pizza guest hotline.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture. Precision in every pass and consistent depth and better yield. Visit DutchOpeners.com. On farm for you.
Darian Durant joining us same time every week. Appreciate it, man. And it's a big one in front of us. CFL draft, Canadian draft is happening tomorrow. You going to be watching?
Absolutely. I'm excited about what our Rough Riders are going to do. Jeremy always excels at things like this. He has a great scouting staff, and his eye for talent is amazing. So looking forward to which direction he goes.
So put yourself in his shoes, if you may, for a moment here, Darian. What qualities would you be looking for in a draft? Selecting 9th overall, and not necessarily specific players, but what qualities and maybe what positions would you be eyeing up first if you were the GM of the Riders?
Well, first of all, you have to be a Ryder guy, right? I mean, in the interviewing process, aside from what you see on the field, you have to know the type of team, the type of environment, the type of locker room that you're going to be walking in. So the interviewing process is such a huge deal. You have to have a team first guy, and you have to be ready to, most of these guys are stars, right? Coming from their universities, but when you're walking into a locker room of a Grey Cup championship team, you're probably going to have to pay your dues a little bit and wait your turn. So you have to have a guy that's patient, a guy that's very understanding, and you have to understand the type of community you're walking into. So more so than what they are able to do on the field, I think you have to have the right guy for the locker room.
The question around every draft, I guess if you put on your general manager's hat, Darian Durant, are you drafting the best player available, or are you drafting to fill your most pressing need?
Well, it just depends, right? I mean, we all can sit here and do these mock drafts and say, where a guy is going to end up. And then when the picks actually start to happen, I mean, the dominoes can fall and things can change at any given second. So it just depends on, if you're eyeing a guy and he goes early, then you have to change your mind. You just never know. So I think what Jeremy should do and what he will do is just sit back and wait and see how it unfolds. But if it was me, I definitely will be eyeing this defensive line. I mean, you're losing, Malik Carney and Micah Johnson, 2 of your sack leaders. So I think you need to definitely add some depth there. Offensive line played so much better last year, opposed to 2024, only giving up 26 sacks. So I think they did a good job of addressing that last offseason, and with a lot of those guys back, I think you're pretty much set there. So now I think it's all about depth on that defensive line and seeing if you can get after the quarterback a little bit.
I was having a conversation with some of the Railbirds, right? The people that stand around Mosaic Stadium and watch practice day in and day out. I love their dedication, love their conversation. And the comment was made that the CFL draft is probably the only draft in all of professional sports where the best player doesn't go number one because you've got so many factors. Can you imagine the things that you have to weigh? Like, even I know how much you watch the NFL draft. It's always the best that goes first, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I mean, because guys are going to be looking for other opportunities for sure. And, if they're able to get into a camp, that's going to be the first thing that they want to do. So when you're drafting and you're looking at some of these top players, you have to know or have to get a feeling from these guys if they're going to actually come to camp in next week, or if they're going to try to see and wait and see if an NFL team gives them a shot. So it's definitely a tough spot to be in. And you're right. It's kind of weird because when you look at the NFL draft, the best guys always go early. But then in the CFL, you have to sit there and wait. Well, should I pick this guy? Will he get a chance down south? If so, how many years spend trying to take advantage of that opportunity? So it's such a tough spot in.
When you focus specifically on that NFL draft, if we can just for a moment, high-profile quarterback Diego Pavia went undrafted. Now, did he got an invite to Ravens rookie camp, but he is a controversial player in a lot of people's eyes. I mean, first Heisman Trophy finalist to, miss the draft since 2014. What's your take on that?
You know what, man? I just think the NFL, especially at the quarterback position, so much about measurables. I mean, he's not even 5'10", 5'11". And then I was watching an interview that he did with former Raiders and Bucks head coach John Gruden. He's stepping out there. He wants to represent himself. He seems to have a little bit of cockiness to him. I mean, it's just so many factors going into why he didn't get a shot. And I just think that, when you go in and you feel like you're bigger than the system, well, the system will always show you who's boss. And, you can't be too cocky, especially when you're going for the interview of a right? This is what you dream of as a kid, and you go into the situation cocky, like you know it all, just because you had some success, just because you're a Heisman finalist. It means nothing. There's so many Heisman Trophy winners who have gone to the NFL and haven't played, I won't say play it down, but they haven't played any significant football. So you just have to be humble, man. You have to make sure that you understand the situation you're going into, and you think you're ever bigger than the system, because no one is, right? I mean, some of the greats have been traded. Some of the greats have been cut. Some of the greats have been told that they need to go home, So it doesn't matter who you are. You have to come in with the right attitude, and he just doesn't seem to have his head in the right place at the moment.
I don't know how to break this down, but if someone is that overconfident, would you hope that your representation, or maybe someone you trust within your circle, whomever that may be, would step in and interject? Or is this just a personality thing?
You would think so, right? I mean, look, the guy went to Vanderbilt, one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. You would think that he has sort of intelligence, especially when it comes to making decisions like this. And then, his family, they're a tight-knit group. And, I'm surprised no one told him that, at least to begin your career, right? Find an agent, find a guy that can go and talk to these coaches, get a feel for where you stand. I mean, look, some of these teams, they tell the harsh truth right to your face. And as a player, you don't want to hear that. But if you have a middleman, kind of, he could sugarcoat it a little bit and not necessarily tell you directly what they're saying, but at least give you that motivation to let you know, okay, this is how they feel somewhat. This is what you need to do going in. And I mean, look, it's so hard. You see what happened with Lamar Jackson in his contract a few years ago. He represented himself, and, he just couldn't accept the Ravens telling him no. He couldn't accept some of the things, so he held a grudge against them. And, for such a young guy to go in there and represent himself in front of these GMs, that has to be a tough spot. And, it's just overconfidence, overcockiness. And you just can't have that, especially as a guy who doesn't meet the measurables of an NFL quarterback.
Well, I was going to say that my entire experience when it comes to professional agents in sports is watching Jerry Maguire about 5 or 6 different times. But Darian, you know what that relationship is like. Like how does that manifest? Is it a friendship? Is it a mentorship? Like, how does that ever come about?
it's everything. I mean, he's your friend, he's your mentor, your guidance counselor. I mean, any and everything you need, that's what he's there for. And most importantly, he goes into he has these relationships with GMs of different teams. So, if you're representing yourself, you're probably only talking to one or two teams, a situation you feel like you should go to. Whereas an agent, he may have a relationship with all 32 teams, right? So you may have a plan B, C, or D going into whatever situation you're going in. And when you represent yourself, you just can't really get a true feel for where you stand. So I think it's a big mistake. I think that, like I said, at least initially to begin your career, have that representation. It's tough. You already weren't drafted, so it's already tough for an undrafted free agent to make a roster. But at least if you have an agent, now you have someone working for you behind the scenes, just in case things don't go your way in your first situation.
So then what do you think is next for Diego? I mean, he's obviously going to rookie camp, but what do you foresee in his future? Possibly UFL, maybe CFL. He is on the Bombers' neg list.
Yeah, I think that he definitely should keep the door open to the CFL. I mean, like I said, there are very, very few guys under 5'10". If you're a statistical guy and look at history, then the chances are very, very slim that you'll make it. So you have to have these doors left open, and I think he should definitely look at the CFL. If he has NFL aspirations, which I'm sure he will have, until he gets up there in age, then the CFL is the perfect opportunity. Winnipeg is a situation where, with a veteran quarterback who's probably, has a couple more years left in his career. It's a winning organization. You can go in there, compete for that backup job right away, and then, see what you can do if you can get on the field down the road. So I think more than ever, guys have more exposure with the internet to the CFL. They know what's going on. And here's another situation where he doesn't have an agent representing him again, so he can't, speak to Winnipeg and their executives to kind of see what's going on. He has to go through everything by himself. So that's another example of where an agent could definitely come into play and help him out in this situation.
This may be skepticism or waking up from the dream, but we hear after the NFL draft is done, right? There's a whole bunch of workouts. You can get invited to a workout. You can get invited to a rookie camp. There is a lot of stock that is invested in those draft picks. So I guess, calling a spade, are these workouts legitimate? Like, is there any stock put in them by NFL teams? Like, do they really think that they're going to discover something better than their draft picks?
Not really. I mean, look, these camps are about bodies, and you want to save the legs of your. They want to see their first 7-round picks and see what those guys can do. But if you don't have the numbers in camp, especially rookie mini camp, right? You're not. If you don't bring a lot of guys in to save the legs of these guys, then guys are going to get hurt. Soft tissue injuries, they happen all the time. You don't want to wear guys down, and especially your top picks. You want them in tip-top shape and ready to go for when the veterans come in. So, you know what? I mean, unless you're just a guy that just was slept on and swept under the rug a little bit, there'll be a guy or two that can stand out. But for the most part, man, it's all about bodies and having other guys take these reps so that your rookies can get through the rookie mini camp and then be ready for when the vets come in.
Did you feel that way when you attended NFL camps?
Well, it's a little bit different for me.
No.
I knew it was a long shot, but it's a little bit different because I'm a quarterback, right? So, we get a lot more reps. We can show off more of what we can do when we're throwing the ball more so than a guy who's just running a route. If there are 9 receivers, well, you got to wait 8 turns before yours to get a route. So it's a little bit different for a quarterback. I still knew it was a long shot for me because, if you look back 20 years ago, there were no quarterbacks pretty much under 6 feet tall. But now it's a little bit different. So guys may have a bit better chance of making it. But I knew for myself that, I had to be spectacular. And, I knew it was a long shot. But it's all of our lifelong dreams, right? All we grew up watching, especially being from the States, is the NFL. And you think about the paycheck and the millions of dollars that these guys make. So even if it's a 0.5% chance that you're making it, it's worth taking that shot. You just never know. So I think that was what it was all about for me. At least just go in there, give myself a shot, who knows what can happen? Maybe I'll get in a preseason game and be able to show something that they've never seen before, but I knew it was a long shot. So I had to keep every eye open that I may have had.
Which is a longer shot? Again, I go back to your former teammate, Rob Bagg, right? Not selected. Then comes in, does what he does, shows what he shows, and he becomes one of the most beloved Ryder receivers of all time. Is it a longer shot that in the NFL to go to these mini camps to try to catch on, or the CFL?
Well, it's a longer shot in the NFL for sure. I mean, look, this is the best of the best, and this is not taking anything from the CFL. There's some great athletes there. A lot of guys go from the CFL down to the NFL and have great careers. But, I mean, you're dealing with the best of the best in the world in the NFL, so it's just so much tougher. And then you look at it like whenever the vets come, it's a little bit different. In the NFL, there's only 2 preseason games. Well, they've cut down the preseason games in the NFL as well. But, I mean, in the CFL, you'll get a lot more reps because the starters, they won't play as much in the preseason. And in the NFL, you know, your mid-round picks, and then you have your undrafted guys, and then you may have another group of guys. So it's just so much tougher to even get reps in the NFL, man, because everyone wants to get their shot out there. And then with the CFL, you know, cut down week is really within a week or two. So they're going to give everyone a shot to make it. But with the way these draft picks, they get dibs. As even if you're not that good in the eyes of your teammates, if you're drafted high, you're going to get the reps regardless. So it's a lot different in the NFL.
So as we shift over to the CFL, I know Colson was really excited about this one, Darian, but they are now implementing their first ever fantasy platform, CFL fantasy platform. You going to join our league if we make one?
Yes, I will. Please send me the link. I will be one of the first ones in. I'm looking for a league to join, man. I love fantasy football. Football season is the best time of the year, regardless of if it's CFL or NFL. So please send the link over. I cannot wait to join you guys.
So if, let's say, there were to be actual CFL fantasy and a usable platform back in your playing days, which one of your teammates do you think would have been the ultimate sleeper?
Oh, wow. That's tough. Maybe Rob. I mean, I think, you know, when you look at our rosters, you would see Dress, you would Getz, see, you know, at the time it was Tosh Smith or some of these other guys, some of these bigger names, Sheets. So I think that Rob would definitely have gotten slept on, and he'd be that guy that consistently got you 50, 60, 70 yards a game, always, you know, fill the stats somewhere, have a reverse in there, a rushing attempt, something like that. So he would definitely be a guy that it would be slept on for sure. That would definitely put up numbers.
Whose defense would you take?
This is tough. I mean,
well, you called for it, man.
Well, no, Dave just wants to find out what you're picking.
If we're in the see, you almost got me there because if we're in the same league, I don't want to give you any tips. So let me just keep that to myself. You'll see when I pick them.
Mm-hmm. See, this is what I'm here for, Darian. I'm here to help you out.
Got me, Dave.
I want you to win the money.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, last thing from me. I just wanted to bring this up. Jorgen Hughes, he announced his retirement last week. Long snappers don't always get the spotlight, but they're so important. So from a quarterback perspective, I guess I just wanted your take on how important the reliability is from that long snapper from your perspective.
It's huge. It's huge, man. I mean, you have to think about punts when you're backed up. You know, you have to think about field goals in the last seconds of games, making sure he gets the ball back to the holder with the laces in the right position. It's just so many things that we don't talk about that makes their job so important to the execution of every special play. So had a great career. And I guess when you haven't heard his name that means he's doing a great job. So I can't recall one single time any fan or anyone in the league has mentioned his name. So to me, that means he's done everything right. So congrats on an amazing career. You know, guys don't stick around as long as he has. And he's done a great job for the Riders in the community as well. So he'll always be a guy that's beloved in Saskatchewan because even though his name wasn't mentioned much, that is a good thing because that means you've done everything right every single game. You work your butt off every single week. And, you know, congrats on a tremendous career.
just to build on that for a quick second, the one thing that Jorgen said that really stood out to me was that from the start of his career till his last snap, most of the time he would come off the field and Jeremy O'Day would give him the knuckle and say, good snap, right?
Yeah.
And we always talk about communication. Like, how many of those little things happen that we don't as fans necessarily see, and how big are they?
Tons. I mean, there's so many things that don't get mentioned in the stat column, or the announcers don't say anything about it. But, that just shows you Jeremy's the ultimate football guy, right? I mean, he knows that how important the snaps are for every punt, every field goal, extra point, you name it. So he has put the ball money every time. And, it's unfortunate sometimes that Brett Lawther will miss the kick, but, you can't blame George. He put the ball right there where it needed to be. And, he's done that consistently throughout his career.
We started this conversation just before we had you on, Darian, with Dylan Cease and his mustache. You've worn a beard for as long as I can remember, but there are clean-shaven photos of you out there. When was the last time you were down to the Bark?
Oh, wow. I can't remember. I think I did it maybe in when Jason Claremont, when we had the Canadian Air Force with Fantus, Claremont, all those guys. So that might have been 2009 or 10. So it's been a while. We all did it for Movember. Yeah, that's what we called it. So that's the last time, man. It's been a while. I may bring that back out this year. We'll see.
Ooh.
Okay.
You
See
have to do it
Darian
with
Durant
me, though,
rocking a
Dave.
muzzy.
We have to do it together.
Nobody wants to see that from me.
Darian Durant, we appreciate your time and your insight as always. Thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
That, of course, Double Talk with Darian Durant, and he was joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek and Canadian favorites you love. Always a good conversation with him. Now, we are going to take a quick break here. We'll be back on the other side with our next guest, Ryder. He's an Oilers Nation host from the Sauce podcast. Might have a thing or two to say about the Oilers playoff run. We'll talk other Stanley Cup playoff action as well.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It's the Sportscage. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
To celebrate CKRM's 100th anniversary, we're honoring the icons who helped shape this station into what it is today. Our next 620 CKRM icon inductee, Colin Lovequist. Here's a behind-the-mic moment with Colin Lovequist.
You hear the stories of the kids taking their transistors into the bedroom, listening to the radio at night, and I'd tune into Keys Country down in North Dakota, and I'd tune into Detroit, and I'd get a station, I think it was Portland, Oregon. I'd hear the Wolfman Jack at night at about midnight, and I thought, this is the greatest thing. And then growing up on the farm, we'd always come in for dinner, and we'd have our Campbell soup and our bologna sandwich, and the radio would go on, and there was 620 CKRM, or back in those days, 980, and I'd start talking to Dad, and we'd be reminiscing or something. Dad would hush me, said, "Be quiet, Jim Smalley's on. Grain prices." I thought, who's this guy that has this much power over my father that he could do that? Make me stop talking. So I thought, well, that's the first that's ever happened. So I got this little seed planted, and then, over the years, I was a big collector I'd get my $20 and I'd buy some comics, some sports cards, and then I'd buy 2 or 3 records from the drugstore, the hardware store in Broadview. So I had this massive collection of music, and that led into doing the school dances, and then I was emceeing minor hockey and doing the figure skating club, emceeing all their functions, and it just snowballed.
For more on our 100th year celebration, visit 620ckrm.com or sastoday.ca. Pack your bags and get ready for a trip of a lifetime. 620 CKRM and Kloss are giving you the chance to experience 6 unforgettable days in Germany. Enjoy a scenic Rhine River cruise, incredible food, local wine, and unforgettable nights taking in the culture, sights, and sounds of Germany. And yes, you'll also tour the Kloss World Headquarters and see how everything's built up close. Be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at across southern Saskatchewan and catch chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw happens this July at Ag in Motion. Don't miss your shot at the Kloss Germany trip giveaway on 620 CKRM.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Picture this, a crust so golden it could blind a superhero. Toppings piled higher than a stack of pancakes on a trampoline. Every bite, a flavor explosion. Every slice, a hug for your taste buds. Garlic, roasted to perfection. Pepperoni, perfectly spicy. Western Pizza is so good, you'll argue who gets the last slice. Western Pizza, dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
This is Sportscage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. 620 CKRM.
Monday edition of the Sports Cage for Smoke 'em Diesel. I'm Tegan Whitco, along with Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, and Colson Schultz on the controls here. We were all just spending the entire break off air talking about how we're constructing the CFL Fantasy League, who we should all invite, who we can't invite. You know, I think it's going to be fun.
Team names will be interesting. They always are.
Oh, I got to start thinking about that already.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't have a go-to?
No.
No.
Well, it's got to be different for every sport. You need to tailor it specifically to either a team or a player.
Exactly.
You can't be lazy.
You can't have like Be Real, as in like Bradley Beal from basketball, when you don't have them anymore, right? You got to change it with the players.
Yeah. Like back when I think I first did my first ever when it was like Baby Got Backstrom.
That's a good one. My go-to
Then he had a really terrible year, so I think I jinxed him.
My go-to is always a certain NHL defenseman in our NHL draft. And everybody knew that I was going to pick him. Like I pick him high just so I could say his name and tell the same joke every year. It was always Sergei Gonchar. Because it was Sergei, my socks aren't dirty, but my Gonchar.
That's the longest name.
That's awesome, isn't it? Like, you can't get much better than that one.
Oh, that's such a dad joke.
Sad day when he retired.
Yeah.
It was a sad day.
I mean, you could still use it just because he's retired.
Well, you couldn't pick him anymore, and you had to have him on your team to take him.
It depends if they cleared the rosters or not, right? You can still pick him. He's just not playing.
But then that's a wasted spot.
So?
For the
I had Tom Brady on my team like 2 years ago. It's fine.
For the sanctity of the joke, you just followed through, right, Colson? That is the biggest opportunity.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? We should stop keeping our guests waiting here. On the Western Pizza guest hotline now, we go out to Edmonton with a gentleman by the name of Ryder, half of the Ryder and Lisa, The Sauce Show with Oilers Nation. Thanks for taking the time, buddy. You got a go-to fantasy name?
You know what? The ones I've usually gone with are too inappropriate to say on the show.
That means they're good.
Yeah. The one I know, we'd all get in trouble.
You might have to email it to me later because now I'm curious.
Right.
You've piqued my interest.
So
okay, fantasy team names aside, we got to start with the elephant in the room because you're covering the Oilers out there in Edmonton. The goal last night, that was good for the Ducks, OT winner. Your thoughts?
First thought is the Oilers probably should have never put themselves in a position to have to deal with that call. The amount of leads that we've given up this series is insane. I say we because I'm just a big fan, so I kind of pretend I'm on the team sometimes. But yeah, the Oilers have had, numerous leads, 2 in the game last night, and then they end up in overtime. This specific view shows that it's very likely a goal. I think most fans are well versed on how the NHL runs this kind of situation, though. And so I know a lot of people were really fired up in the fact that it wasn't called a goal right away on the ice, and the ref wasn't in any position to see it better than the camera we just saw. And even with that view, it looks like it's very likely, and I think we can all agree on that. But conclusive evidence has always been what they go back to. So I know a lot of people were upset that all of a sudden they had a little huddle and then determined, oh, yeah, that was for sure in. But what was said in the huddle, none of the 4 officials were close to the call. It just seemed kind of strange that that's where they started the argument. And then, of course, because there wasn't conclusive evidence that it wasn't in, they couldn't overturn that it was in. So it's a bit of a mess. I honestly think the more I watch it, the more the celebration by the Ducks was brilliant. And players are probably on well-coached teams told to do this because the ref probably looked at him and was like, this guy seems pretty confident that that was in. I don't want to look like a fool by saying it was no goal right off the hop. I don't know. That's maybe something the Oilers should probably consider, is celebrating a bit more when they think a goal might have gone in. I want to see some Nail Yakupov knee slides down the ice, even if it's close, moving forward. But frustrating. It was such a big moment. You look at Game 4s and the difference between a 2-2 series lead coming back to Edmonton with home ice advantage and now on the ropes down 3-1. That's not the first game of a series like the Colorado one was a couple years ago with the Cale Makar offside that I know a lot of people were really confused by too. This was a Game 4 and a huge point of the series. So yeah, it's been the talk of the town and the hockey world, and it seems like most people can agree it was probably in, and everybody's just confused how the way they got to the final decision was kind of new last night, and they shouldn't maybe be implementing new things they've never done in the middle of an overtime in the playoffs.
Valid point. I imagine there's a lot of people that went to work very upset in Edmonton this morning. But how do you think the team is? You follow them closely. You cover this team. You know the ins and outs. Do you think this is something that will linger in the next game, or do you think that this is going to be fuel and momentum for the team?
I mean, if they haven't had fuel and momentum yet to the point where they need it to take a lead in this series, I don't know what they need to get rolling. It doesn't feel like the same team we've seen play their best at any point this season, but that's been the team's problem. That's why they didn't end up first in the Pacific. When going into the season, they looked like the team that probably should be first in the Pacific going into playoffs. It's just they can't seem to string together great play for long enough chunks of time to go deep. So the frustrating part is you look at McDavid's looming contract. I know he signed another 2 years, so we got 2 more years with him, but you're kind of in this state where if we don't win it in the next couple years, are we going to be a part of a 15-year rebuild? The last one here was dubbed the Decade of Darkness, and it went well over a decade. I think that's just how we worded it so we didn't go crazy. But yeah, we're not as good as we should be through the first 4 games. The Ducks probably should have a 3-1 series lead here, and they're a young, thirsty team who just never gives up on plays. So it's going to be tough to battle back, but it would be the most Oilers thing to do ever to just all of a sudden come back and win this series and have every fan in the place thinking that they're the number 1 choice to win the cup again.
Well, again, I question my life choices with the people that I hang around, and it was brought to my attention that maybe the Oilers wouldn't even be in the playoffs if they weren't in the pillow fight division, right? So is there blame to go around that, hey, we had a whole season to determine that this wasn't going to work well in the playoffs? We should have done something different?
I mean, I think that there was a real casual demeanor to the team and the players joking about how, well, it's the regular season. We're going to get ourselves into playoffs, and then we can show you what we do. But the regular season really has to give you the opportunity to get good so that when you're in playoffs, you know how to play good. And with how casual they were all season, being like, just get in the playoffs, and then we'll show you what's up. But the time they got and locked a spot, McDavid was exhausted because he carried the team on his back for the last 3 weeks of the season because Draisaitl was hurt. And you just look back at those moments that they didn't take seriously enough, in my opinion, the first couple months, which they always seem to play bad. But then they're like, don't worry, we got this. Well, do you? Because now you look absolutely exhausted. Half your team's hurt because you had to battle up until the 82nd game to determine what your spot was. And yeah, you were also in an easy division. And I don't know. You look at Anaheim, and that is not an easy team. So moving forward, I don't think that division is going to be the easy division. San Jose is going to be a beast in the years to come. Anaheim, I mean, I just can't believe how good some of those young players are on that team. So they better start taking it seriously, and I guess that starts tomorrow.
I don't know that I'd blame goaltending for being down 3-1, but who do you start in Game 5?
Pickard, like our third goalie. Yeah, to me, it's how they play in front of the goalies. In my opinion, if you're going to string together 3 good games in a row where a goalie doesn't lose it for you, and now that you're up against the ropes, there is a chance that that happens, is that it's a really close game and your goalie lets in a stinker and your season's done. I would say that I feel more confident that Ingram can put together 3 games from what I've seen this year without having a lapse or a really bad game. Jari might make a couple more saves, but I think he could also put up a 4-goal period against him if he's not on his game. So I would go with Ingram for the rest of the series, which hopefully is 3 more games.
Well, and he had a little bit of a tear there at the end of the season, so.
Yeah, when he's in the net, it feels like pucks just get swallowed up by him. Like he has a confidence in the net, and the guys seem to play pretty good in front of him for the most part. We haven't seen that this series, but that also goes to show that we're not playing a Seattle here. Like Anaheim is a pretty good team. They are fast. If you look at the Oilers' success over the last few years, if you add up all the teams that we've played, you're looking at your Vegas, your Floridas, your LA Kings, a whole bunch. All these teams are kind of older, smart, methodical power play specialists. And the Oilers were able to capitalize by being the faster team and also having an incredible power play. And now the foot speed kind of leans toward it's Anaheim, and they've also won the special teams battle. So I think you're right that this is not a goalie issue at this point. This is everything else issue more than that.
Okay, you tweaked me when you made your first response, Ryder, when you said about coaching and Anaheim's coaching being well, and they coached them better. I get the feeling, listening to Edmonton Oilers fans, and again, if you listen to the fans, quite often you're going to be sitting with them, but if they had their way, they would have fired Chris Knobloch between Game 4 and 5. Good Imperial Saskatchewan guy. Is he the scapegoat automatically for this right now? And again, you can read into Draisaitl's comments and even some of McDavid's during the regular season about coaching. Like, am I reading too much into this?
I think the expectation was so high for this team that a first-round exit, a second-round exit would probably mean a new coach next year. That's just my guess. A third-round exit would likely be up against Colorado, and if we feel like we lose that one, management and fans would understand. The funny thing is, if they would have got to the Stanley Cup final again or and don't win, I think his job's in jeopardy again. So I think the only way he keeps his job, a coworker of mine pointed this out to me, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. The only way that Chris Knobloch can go to bed feeling safe, I think, is if we get bumped in the third round this year. I do like Knobloch a lot. I like what he brought when he started with us. I mean, he was record-breaking for his debut. But I do wish there was a bit more passion out of him. You look at the overtime goal last night and the celebration from the players that felt planned and smart. And then you see a lot of the other coaches that are doing well this year, and they're pretty dramatic on the bench, like performative almost, that they're upset about every call and yelling at the refs and in their ear. And Knobloch is so chill that when something like this comes up, the refs will look across and be like, well, that coach won't yell at me. Because he's Knobloch and he's really chill. Like, I know that's a super... that might be a little presumptuous, but it does feel that he needs to be in the game a bit more if he wants some more calls to go our way. Because you look back on other teams' playoff runs when we used to play your Dallases over and over again in the late 90s and these well-established teams that were full of vets, it seemed like the calls always went the vets' way. You look at the Penguins the last few years. If it's close, they kind of give them the Sid bump, and it feels like the Oilers should be in that position by now, that they are this team that has made it to the Cup final twice. Like, when do we actually start feeling like we get a borderline call. And last night in overtime was another reminder that we're not at this point, and maybe the coach's chilled demeanor has something to do with that. So I hope he gets fired up. I want to see him throw a bench on the ice like that Detroit coach did back in the day.
Ryder, I know we are running out of time here. Holy smokes, this has been flying by, but I do just want to know before we let you go, what other series has been intriguing you?
I hope that Pittsburgh can get it done today, because that would be fun. And they are down 3-1 in the series, and they play the day before the Oilers every day, so maybe they can see it's possible. That Battle of Pennsylvania has been insane. That shot of the penalty box the other day when there was 11 guys in it was hilarious. It looked like the players' bench. But that Montreal and Tampa series is something else.
That's going 7, right?
Yeah, I've got it going 7 with a Montreal win is what I put a little scratch on at the start of that series. And I feel like that could very likely be what happens. It's this cool, like, old, established team full of vets that plays hard and has a great coach against the other team whose young coach used to play for that team and is this filled with piss and vinegar, these young guys, and they are going to battle every day. That series is much-watch TV right now, must-watch TV.
Well, we might have to catch up, when they claw back from that 3-1 series deficit.
Yeah, I honestly think
I'm manifesting it for you, man. I'm not even an Oilers fan at all.
The Oilers and Ducks series, I think, has been probably the worst series so far. It's filled with turnovers, and it's just the power plays a guarantee for the Ducks. That's not as exciting to watch as like the Tampa and Montreal. The 5-on-5 play has been outstanding. So the East was a powerhouse in the regular season, and from watching some of these series, even how good Carolina looked against Ottawa, who I thought was going to put up more of a fight, the East is still looking very good compared to the West right now.
Well, we have Ryder, half of the Ryder and Lisa The Sauce Show with Oilers Nation. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this today, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll have to catch up again soon. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night. Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get it.
Ryder joining us, as always, on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. Yeah, we do need to take a quick break. We'll be back with the Sports Ticker on the other side. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Hello?
What's your favorite garage door specialist?
What?
You like scary movies? Because I've seen what happens when you ignore that grinding noise.
But it's just a little squeak.
That's what they all say, until the door won't open, or worse, won't close. So call Busy Bee Doors.
Well, why didn't you just lead with that? Jeez.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. It's a real scream. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
If you're thinking about a landscape project but not quite sure where to start, hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. That's why we built this place. We help you make the right calls, from choosing materials to understanding how it goes together, so your project turns out the way you want. Whether it's paving stones, retaining walls, or irrigation, our team will help you get it right the first time. Stop by our showroom on the East Vic Service Road or visit therustyshovel.ca. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop.
When you play Sports Select, you're part of more than the game. You're backing over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan funded through Sask Lotteries. So go ahead, make your picks at sportselect.com, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Every play is 100% legal, and every ticket supports your community. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
This is the Sports Ticker. Steelcraft Doors Ryder signed a pair of players today. All-American defensive tackle Thor Griffith. Also, three-time All-Conference American offensive lineman Thomas Perry. WHL Conference Finals, Everett Silvertips in Penticton to take on the Vs tonight at 7:30. Everett is up 2-0 in that one. The other conference final, Raiders, Tigers, tied. About a game apiece. Game 3 is tomorrow. Game 4 goes on Wednesday in Medicine Hat. NHL playoffs, Golden Knights taking on the Mammoth on the road. Utah up 2-1. As we were just talking about, Flyers and Penguins. Flyers up 3-1. World Seniors Curling Championship. Canada beat Slovakia this morning 9-2. MLB, Toronto Blue Jays, Boston Red Sox is on right now. Still scoreless. Top of the fourth. 2 out and 2 runners on. Dylan Cease on the mound tonight. I think he's still out there. I think I see that glorious. Yeah, there's the Muzzy. Okay, Trey Savage returns tomorrow for the Blue Jays. That's good news, but this is not such good news. Right-hander Max Scherzer has been placed on the 15-day injured list with tendonitis in his right forearm and inflammation in his left ankle. Let us know what you think. It's been a topic of conversation throughout the afternoon. Did the NHL get it right when awarding that goal to the Anaheim Ducks in overtime of Game 4 last night? Yes, no, or it's 2026. The NHL needs to have a better way. Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians. I have no idea how this time flew by so quickly, but I'm looking forward to more hockey this week. That's all I got to say before we get out of here. Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to go to sportscage.com, you can see the latest. University of Regina has reversed their decision when it comes to their women's basketball head coach. Michaela Kleisinger is in.
Yeah, she's back. So if you want more information on that, we always have you covered. And with the CFL Canadian Draft taking place tomorrow, we will have all the latest coverage for you. Follow us on all of our socials. Follow us right here on the Sports Cage, and of course, everywhere else that you get your information from us. So feel free to go back and watch anything that you may have missed in podcast form, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. You can always stream us on X and sportscage.com as well. For myself, for Dave Thomas, for Colson Schultz, thank you for joining us, for coming along for the ride, and good night from the Sports Cage studio on the corner of 12th and Rose.
Bill just called. He said the Thompsons are going already.
Really? Here I am. I'm still deciding if I should replace my openers.
Morning, gentlemen. Looking for Dave. I've got your new openers.
He brought Andrew. Time to listen.
Follow me to the farm. I'll show you how to install them so your field's ready before anyone else.
Don't wait to fall behind. Check your openers and get expert help from Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture. Precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
Farm equipment keeps getting bigger and bigger, so the doors on your farm building